Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eternal Mooncast special program, Bishoujo Senshi Slumber Party. We're on the current adventure of the React series of the Sailor Moon DiC dub, and this will be the discussion portion for episodes 56 through 60.
Sailor Moon has a long and rich history, but have you seen everything? I'm Relia, and these are my friends. This week we have Rizuki, Duckie, and Michi. We are all lifelong Sailor Moon fans who dove headfirst into the fandom and have stayed there ever since. We love being part of the amazing fan community surrounding this genre-defining series. If you've been watching and you'd like to jump to a particular episode, as always, timestamps will be in the description.
Now, we know some of you may have not have seen the DiC dub. If you want to watch along with us and enjoy our reactions, join Patreon and get in on the fun. It's free unless you'd like to get our reactions 1 week early, and that's one whole American dollar. Please enjoy. The link is in the description below.
All right, so let's dive into discussing episodes 56 through 60 this week. As usual, I've watched them in both Japanese and in English, so I can try to give a little more commentary about them. The Japanese episode numbers, if you're following along with that, are going to be 62 through 66. As always, we will be summarizing each episode, talking about them, and sharing our thoughts with you. We're excited to share our favorite moments, what we loved, and everything else in between. Join the chat or post in the comments and let us know what you think about each episode too. We love your interaction always.
Thank you to the citizens of the Mooniverse on Patreon and our subscribers on Twitch. You help make the Moony magic. As a reminder, this is a monthly show and that these are all just our personal opinions. We in no way represent Toei, Biz, or the Sailor Moon intellectual property in any way.
So, hi everybody. Monica couldn't join us this month, but we are so excited to have not one but two friends here joining us. We have Rizuki and Duckie, and they are going to be diving in, giving us even more commentary on the DiC episodes. I think it's kind of fun that we're now pulling in like even more opinions of people being like, watch the DiC. It's been years since it came out. Tell us your wild reaction.
And especially because, Duckie, do you want to tell us a little bit about your history with this part?
Oh, yes. Yes. So back in ye olden times, in the 2000s, Baby Bird would use her allowance money to hunt for the DiC VHSs on the eBay and have Dad use his credit card to buy them for me. However, the art of the DiC dub, for whatever reason, just eluded me the entirety of the time. So I had like the R movie, the Doomtree series, and then none of the Black Moon Clan. So this was my first time watching this part of the DiC dub.
Awesome. So you're getting
some
some of these characters and voices for the like very first time.
Yeah, it's the sisters. The sisters are
they're so clutch. I love them.
The Spectre sisters, or as they're known in Japan, the Ayakashi sisters. Okay, we're a little bit into the main bulk of R, the section of R that is actually, has any basis in the manga. Because of course the Doomtree series was just filler. So we're slightly into it. And where we've gotten is that we're about to get some power-up episodes. And I believe that as far as the DiC dub goes, now this does not include Cloverway, but as far as the DiC dub goes, I think these are the last power-ups that we're going to be seeing for the squad. So
I think so.
Yeah, so they are monumental in that sense. These are the attacks that we will basically be seeing from them for the rest of the series. So let's start right off with episode 6-2. The Japanese title is A Guardian's Friendship. Goodbye, Ami. What's our DiC title for this one?
Sailor Mercury Moving On.
Sailor Mercury Moving On. I like it. They always DiC always goes a little bit more for the alliteration, which I think takes even a title that isn't one of their punchiest and makes it a little bit more fun.
Yes.
That for them.
And I told Duckie this, and Duckie 100% agrees. DiC titles are OPI nail polish colors.
I mean,
I can't unsee it now.
They kind of are. Like that is not wrong.
Honestly, now that you're thinking, and now like OPI, where is our collab?
It's so controversial and yet so great.
I will say, I love OPI, but I'll go in and I'll be looking at colors and I'll be like, ooh, what's this incredibly gorgeous shade of red? And I'll flip it over, and every single time I'm not really a waitress. Every time I'm like, wow, that red is really beautiful. Not really a waitress. Every time. They have so many shades of red, but that's clearly just the one that I love. Anyway, little OPI sidetrack. Indeed, OPI, where is your collab with Sailor Moon? It would be so welcome.
I would buy the entire slot.
I think they would honestly do a really good collab, and I think a nail polish collab, we're so off in the weeds now and we haven't even started, but a nail polish collab would be so good for the IP because for
Would.
once I think we would get a collab where they would actually stick to colors that match the Senshi. I have such a bee in my bonnet about the ColourPop collabs for Sailor Moon, where both palettes are not on theme at all. First of all, the palettes don't make any particularly good looks. The colors don't go together. Most of them are unusable. But also most of the colors are like just vaguely related to the idea of Sailor Moon when they had such Sailor Moon is color coded. It is so easy to do a correct collab based on the Senshi. And so like I'm always frustrated about the ColourPop collabs, and I feel like a nail polish collab is perfect for it because you're not trying to suit particular like colors that people desire. You can just do the colors of the Senshi, and they would work really well.
Literally
just
just
given to you. Yeah.
Yes,
literally name it Venus Power Makeup. Like
Yeah.
done.
exactly.
Exactly.
And it's orange and it's got some glitter in it. You know, like you do
Yeah.
each of the colors and you put some glitter in it, and they will all look amazing.
We are begging for scraps.
Seriously,
Exactly.
seriously.
No.
Oh my god,
I
you don't
say
understand.
staring at the Sailor Moon house on my desk in front of me.
Like it's either Hot Topic or Box Lunch. One of their new winter collections has like one
Like-
Uranus and Neptune T-shirt. And
Thank you,
yeah,
Duckie.
Look at
That's
them.
a good.
Look at
Okay,
those.
but that
Like,
one shimmer
okay.
ball is pretty.
Okay, the first one was okay. The missed opportunity was like, let's make this one outer Senshi coated. No, we still got inners. We still got inners in their freaking OG and like color repeat.
Oh, you just. I'm gonna ask you one question. That's 2 palettes right there. Can you make a Jupiter eye with either of those palettes?
No, like
No.
you could maybe do like a pinky one and supplement a green out of something, but like the Avatar one was like, okay, we're doing the
That's what I'm
nations
saying.
in
Like
the
they've done
nations'
so
colors.
many, like the Pokemon collab. They did a great job. I think they just released a Twilight New Moon collab. The colors
Yeah.
for that one are so on point.
Right.
Like they're capable of doing good collabs, but for some reason with Sailor Moon, they just do whatever the hell they want. I do
Yeah.
love the face glitter from the Sailor Moon collab. It's
The face glitter
perfect.
was good. The face,
It's-
like, the face goop from the second one was such a texture bad. I was like, immediately, no, this would have been so pretty. But like, it just feels like you just put lip gloss on your face. Like, it does not, and it does not dry down.
Getting that, but I use the glitter from the first ones constantly.
Yeah.
Like the purple one I
all
use
the
for Saturn, like all the time. It is so perfect for her.
It's just
The
it's
blushes
so
and the
the
lippies.
glitter's really nice, really easy to apply. You get a lot of sparkle out of it. They're so good.
No, and it's funny. Last makeup thing, and then I promise we'll get to the actual reason.
It's very iconic. It's very Spectre Sisters of us, though.
Not just
Like,
more of us
The 4 of us talking about makeup.
instead of what we're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
They're doing
Olivia
the
shows up
in one
and
of
is like,
the
"Have you
episodes.
conquered the
It's
world yet?"
fine. Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is in a skit that Rizuki, and Relia were in, our Nekonaru used the purple Luna blush to make
Yes.
herself purple.
Oh my
That's what that
god.
was? It was the Luna purple blush. Stop. Yeah, that's exactly what Breathless Air used.
That's amazing.
I'll insert a
Oh wait,
picture.
this is the
It's-
Artemis one. It's in the wrong
Oh
one.
my
I
god.
have it right
here.
Duckie just coming in with the example.
Wait, hold on, I have it here.
I got it.
Yeah, look, that is
Oh my god,
straight up
yep.
purple.
It's
And
Oh
that
my
is so
God.
pretty too.
It
I
looks
freaking
so
love this.
pretty.
Like that looks so nice as like a blush topper or as like a highlight.
So that's
Yeah.
what,
I'm going on
now
my
you
journey.
can see it though. That's what Breathless Air did.
Yeah,
Please
the
don't
makeup
so
from
pretty.
nice.
And don't
Disgusting.
mind me.
Reasons.
I'm just maneuvering because I finished eating. So join me.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
Alright.
going on an adventure.
While
Yeah.
you're maneuvering, why don't we get started with the episode?
yes,
Absolutely,
let's.
yeah.
We're
Here's,
maneuvering to the
here's my
episode.
boy. Also, I gotta
Oh, look at him.
give ups to my boy.
Yeah. Nice glimmer. All right, so Here's the episode. We start off, she's hanging
God.
out there. She sees a new ice cream shop, but she's like, no ice cream. I got to focus on my mission to find the silver crystal. She runs into Amy, who convinces Rini to go with her to get ice cream. And Rini's like, I don't want ice cream. I'm too mature for that. And Amy's like, okay, but I want ice cream and maybe you'll keep me company. And Rini's like, well, okay, if you say so, which is very cute of Amy. Rini begins to be convinced that Amy probably has the silver crystal because she's like, no one would leave it with Serena. She's not responsible enough. I bet they gave it to Amy. So, meanwhile, the other girls have all gotten together. They're discussing the bombshell news that Amy has gotten a chance to go study medicine in Germany. Yeah, but she's super smart, so
Smart.
she's allowed. Serena's like really reluctant to let her leave, but the other girls are like, look, you have to think of Amy's future. Like she's not just Sailor Mercury. She's got a whole future she wants to live. And Luna's like, girl, you're just upset because you're going to miss your friend. And Serena does agree that that's probably true. And then like that bolsters her and she decides that actually they should organize a going away party for her. Meanwhile, often the little sparkly evil thing in the sky, Rubius reaches out to Birdie and is like, we have found another crystal point. We want you to go corrupt this one. Rini is still on her mission of finding silver crystal, so she's decided to start stalking Amy. She asks, hey, Amy, can I start sleeping over at your place? It's really hard to study around Serena. And Amy's like, oh, yeah, that tracks. So Rini is like, she's studying at Amy's house, and she's desperately trying to stay up past when Amy goes to bed so that she can snoop around. But this is Amy we're talking about, and Amy will study till like 3 a.m. And Amy's like, Chibi, or Rini, you should really go to bed. Like, it must be way past your little kid bedtime. And Rini's like, no, I can do it. When the hell is she going to sleep? Oh my God. It is genuinely hilarious. They get to chatting, and Amy mentions that she's going to be going to Germany soon, but she's having second thoughts about leaving the others behind. Meanwhile, we see that Serena's having a nightmare of Amy abandoning her, and that this is getting tied into her feelings about the fact that Darian has just abandoned her, and that that's probably playing into what she's going through here. Birdie and her droid are on their mission. They take over the ice cream shop. And on the way to school, Amy tells Serena no, she doesn't want a farewell party because she's already feeling hesitant and she doesn't want to like have even more doubts about leaving. So the girls talk this over and they decide, well, we'll go to the airport then to see her off instead. At the ice cream shop, we discover that this ice cream basically causes everyone who eats it to just become really pissy. Birdie is there. She has the cutest outfit with a little umbrella. She does a Southern Belle accent for no reason. Chef's kiss. I love it. Birdie then spies Artemis snooping, and she immediately has her droid freeze him. So because Artemis has gone missing, all the girls are getting together. They're very concerned. Ray is like reading in the flames to find traces of Artemis, but can't find him. So Mina goes to scope out like the last place that she thought Artemis might have gone, which was this ice cream shop that he had said he thought was suspicious. So she gets there. It turns out it is super suspicious. She fights the droid and like calls the others to come help. So because Serena has to go do this thing, Rini offers that she'll take Amy's going away gift to the airport for them. And Darian's like, yeah, all right, I'll drive you. So the other girls, minus Mercury, go to the ice cream shop to help Venus fight. But things aren't going well for them. The droid like really has them on the rocks. It's super cold. They don't know what to do. Rini and Darian, meanwhile, do drop off the going away gift for Amy. Rini's like super pissy that the girls didn't show up and is like, I don't think they're really friends of yours. I think they're pieces of shit, actually. And Amy is not swayed by this. She opens the gift. It's her new transformation pen and communicator watch. And she gets this like sinking feeling that the girls must be in trouble. And she asks Darian to take her back. He obliges. Mercury then helps the girls. She manifests a new attack. The Japanese name is, of course, Shine Aqua Illusion. Is this Mercury Ice Bubbles Freeze? Or
No.
that was her
Something like
previous
that.
attack? This
No,
one
this is Shine Aqua Illusion.
No, what's the DiC name?
Oh, no, that is it.
I think it is that in the deep dive too. That sounds
Really?
Yeah, Shine
Okay.
Aqua Illusion.
I can hear it in the Amy voice.
Okay, all right. Yep. Sailor Moon finishes off the droid, and then Mercury's like, I can go to Germany some other time. I'm a genius. They'll still let me go, which is fair. So that's the episode.
I was traumatized by this episode as a child because I thought she was actually leaving. And I was so
Oh.
upset. But I was like 8. So I was like
Oh,
little. So that's when I was like, how could you leave your friends?
you're such a tiny map watching this, worried that she's ditching them.
I know, because I felt like Serena. I was like, oh, she can't leave.
Yeah. I was always just like bamboozled by this plot line because I'm like, okay, but like the Black Moon Clan is like here. Like we are dealing with a present threat. Like
Right.
we know. Why would you just be like, they'll be fine? Like,
That was my issue. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna go study. If you die, you die. Bye.
yeah. And I was
Yeah.
like, wait,
Yeah,
you
if
have
we
like
were
one
between
other
seasons.
intelligent person.
If we were between seasons and they didn't know that there was a current and present threat, then it's like, oh yeah, we totally
make
get
more
that.
sense.
She's like, I
Right.
assume that, the world is saved. I can't put my life on hold forever. I'm going to Germany for this program. But it becomes more complicated. It's interestingly complicated with the fact that they are in the midst of a threat and attempting to deal with that, because it does become this, like, I think it's interesting to see Mercury, who's in some ways the most selfless of them, dealing with this and genuinely wanting to go and wanting to say, like, hey, can you guys handle this at home? I really still want to like pursue my dreams. And I don't believe that being a predestined soldier should mean that I'm not allowed to also have dreams that I try to achieve. Like I think this is a really interesting concept. And like I said, because it's Mercury of all people, I really like that they're exploring it with a character who normally doesn't hesitate to, just sort of put the mission first. I think I'm I would say I'm quite a fan of this episode. This episode also has one of the last of the wonderful DiC songs that we get in it, which is very emotional. And of course, DiC music is bangers all the way through. So I love the concept, but I agree. Obviously, like as adults, you always know, there's no way in the world that she's gonna just leave the team and be like, I don't know, you guys work it out. Because you're just like, are you crazy? The world is literally under threat. Like bad things
Now.
are actively happening at home now, not in Germany, here in Tokyo. I agree with that.
No, and I want to talk specifically about one thing. Let's see if I can. Proplica. Why do I not own this watch?
Right? Why have they not made it yet? Why can we not purchase it? Like these are so
Wait.
like, especially when you know that like part of doing a show for kids is creating merchandise that you can sell to kids. Where's my merchandise?
Wait.
Where's my merchandise?
They made a version of Uranus and Neptune's, but they made it on a keychain. And it was like
Yeah.
and it was yellow. It wasn't
Yeah, no.
gold.
I don't want a keychain. I want a wearable watch.
So
They
it's
did
gonna
like a
drive me
lip
nuts
gloss.
because I absolutely own the wristwatches for Moon
You
and
do?
Venus. I do, but I still there's supposed to be shelves right here, and instead we have just a bunch of boxes I've never unpacked, so they're in there. I absolutely have 2 of those communicators. One is pink for Moon, one is orange yellow for Venus.
Yeah.
I know I have photos of them from a photo shoot. I will look for them. But
Yeah.
they existed. They just weren't proplicas. They were kind of like
Right.
wristwatchy. They weren't like
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because like Bandai and stuff, like they've made so much
Mhm.
merch. Most of it never made its way to the US, but
Mhm.
especially back in the day, so much merch like that was made. I'm just so surprised that Proplica has not gotten in on.
honestly. I'm
'Cause
bummed.
those
These
I would
are
love
never
that.
for the good goods.
Yeah.
I'd wear that. If they made it a real watch, you don't think that would be my everyday?
Oh my god.
Right.
I would
Right?
dump this so
Exactly.
fast. Like
Right.
it's so it's so thin and like it's kind of like a kid's wristwatch, like flimsy. It's very thin. I'll find a photo to show at some point because I wish I had it with me, but it's in there. But yeah, they're not. They're kind of more like toyish or like kind of like a gashapon kind of thing. So
Right.
not
Yeah.
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 Whereas
Bummer.
the people want the wristwatches.
Yes.
Yeah. Give us
Do I
give
have-
us the
do I have
wristwatches.
anything unpacked? No. Of course not. Because then the star pen,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
they did those, but as pens. Like
Right.
it's a pen. And I'm
It's
like,
like a literal.
really? It's an
Yeah.
actual pen.
I'm like,
my
give
God.
me The Uranus
would-
and Neptune
I'll
treatment,
pay.
please.
Money is not the problem.
Right.
Make it available.
Oh, I have a question though. What animation team was this? Because like some of the animation is absolutely gorgeous.
So that's whenever you're looking at attack sequence animation, it's going to be better than the rest of it, because
That's
that'll be
true.
like a key animation team. Find me some of the stuff of like that could be we could be looking at the
Oh, look, it's-
broad-shouldered animation team there.
This, yeah, I think it went like the broad shoulder people and then the horny people. It flip flopped the few.
Definitely. So we have I think this one's broad-shouldered animation team. The next one is going to be horny noodle animation team, which is the beautiful
Yes.
animation, but it's also horny. After that is going to be, I think the next one is the
think
next
you're
one is
right, it is
Thunderstorm. That
broad-shouldered.
might be pretty animation team. And then I think Minako and Makoto's conflict is the
That's
horny
horny.
animation team.
I remember because of the goop.
And then yep. I think the Curry episode is also the nice animation team. So yeah, they jump around, but they're the horny animation teams, of which there are two. You always know when they're around, and they are putting in the work.
No, it was
a wholesome children's show and making it real weird.
no, it was just great because I was to Duckie. I was like, oh, this is the horny team. And I think you were like, how can you tell? And then it was like obscenely goopy. And then people were getting tied up in bondage. And I'm like,
That'll do it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, this explains a lot.
I understand.
Yeah.
oh, I thought the Yoma design was great.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Very pretty.
Agreed.
I can't read Bob Floy anymore because you said Bobby Flay once to me, Rolia.
Sorry. I got you. I incepted you.
You said it once, and now my brain is just like, no, this is Bobby Flay.
It's just a Bobby Flay, and they serve ice cream, and it's been taken over by Crystal Point. It's a
Oh,
Crystal
that's
Point
what
that
made
needs to
me
be
mad.
Yeah.
Why did Ice win against Ice?
Yeah.
Right.
So we if you watch our watch through of this on Patreon, you'll see at some point that we quibble with the fact that like they're all huddled in the ice and they're like, I don't know what to do to overcome this. And I'm like, maybe the
Fight
one
them?
of you that has power over fire has
That
a
might-
solution to this problem. Nope.
Perhaps.
No.
Well,
Fire.
then the ice
no.
cream would go bad, and that would
Ice.
just be.
Yeah.
We would destroy the ice cream, and
Okay.
that just ruins everything. We can't.
Yeah, that's a crime
True.
against humanity.
True.
We cannot
True.
do this.
So yeah, the combat conceit for this one was very ridiculous. And you'll notice the combat scene in this is very truncated, it's very short, because they wanted to leave so much breathing room for the character concept of the episode, which was like the dealing with like Mercury potentially going away, making choices, this and that. And I think in many respects that's a strong decision. When you have these character episodes that are like they're filler in the sense that they are not moving the plot forward, but they're my favorite kind of filler, which is like when it's giving you more insight into a character. I really enjoy those, and I think it's important that you let the character breathe in that episode for it to feel like it had some impact. So as a result, instead you get the stupidest combat, which is just there's the four girls show up to fight. The next time you see them, they're all just like, oh, I don't know what to do because it's so cold. I can't do anything. What do we do?
We certainly haven't
And then
done this
Mercury shows up
before.
to save them. Yeah. So it was the worst battle because there was just no time for them to have a battle.
Also, can I just say, in particular, for Chibiusa, to not no, in particular, because when they go to the airport and she's like, "Wow, I even told them that you were leaving and they didn't want to come to say goodbye." Some friends, aren't they?
Oh, she is
She's such a little turd.
off the chain. She is so nasty and so manipulative in this.
She drives me nuts in this entire season. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. Dubs, like, original doesn't matter. I can't deal with her.
Us, it's very difficult to feel positively disposed towards her at some points.
Yes,
Yeah.
I just had to point that out because I was just like, "Girl, that is the meanest damn thing to ever say to somebody who's already going through a traumatic time."
And you want them to help
Like, Furly Pop, you're 900.
put it together.
And then there's a really weird scene where Tuxedo Mask is driving her, but it's at night and he's wearing sunglasses. And I'm like, public safety.
She's got astigmatism. Leave it alone.
Everything looks like
It
fireworks.
cuts and glare. Let's see. As far as differences between Japanese and English versions, not a lot. In the Japanese version, when Chibiusa is staying over at Ami's place, Ami asks Chibiusa, she's like, Chibiusa, where do you really come from? Who are you actually? You're not really from any place around here, are you? You're not Serena's cousin. You're not Usagi's cousin. But Chibiusa just like doesn't say anything. And Ami eventually is just like, well, look, you clearly don't have a real place to go to. And if you want to, I'll be gone in Germany. You can stay here in my apartment, like my mom will let you. And then, yeah, which leads into the whole explanation that she's going to Germany. But yeah, it was an interesting detail that they didn't choose to keep in the DiC dub. And so like a lot of times we'll try to figure out why they would take something out. Sometimes they just cut it for time so that they can get more like DiC trash talk in. Valid. In this case, I don't know, maybe they cut it because they were concerned about the idea of a teenage girl offering to let a small child like live in her apartment and like sublet from her. I don't know.
Rent, right?
I don't know what the decision making was behind that. But yeah, that was the only particular differential between the two episodes. Oh, a little thing that I liked was like the canniness of the villain in this episode where if you remember, there's a part where Artemis is the first one investigating the ice cream shop. And Birdie sees him walking around and is like, oh, what a cute little kitty. Come here, little kitty. And like scoops him up into her arms and is like cuddling him and then just like punts him across the room. And she's like, do you think I don't recognize who the hell you are? Like, freeze him, please. Like, it was
The one and
it was
only
one of
time.
those- It was one of those where it was like they didn't have to include that little moment of like the cat getting snooped out, but they did, which was kind of a neat little detail.
I thought in general it's a good. Now, do we recommend them?
You know what? Monica's not here to stop me, so I personally will recommend this episode. There's a couple episodes in this set that I'm going to recommend. I don't personally recommend things just based on whether I think it's the greatest episode ever made or the most important episode to the series, but whether I think like it was a strong episode that had some value in it that, you know, has some of the better moments in Sailor Moon. And for me, this hits those points of being a little bit more interesting as far as like some character depth to it and then moving things along in an interesting way. Like, I'm going to go ahead and recommend it. I don't hate this episode. I don't even dislike this episode.
I think it's a good episode. I'd recommend it. And then where are we with the Luna say something nice to Serena challenge?
I believe so. Interestingly, that did come up in our Patreon watch that it's arguable that maybe Luna does sort of say something nice to Serena at the beginning when the girls are talking about her going away, and Serena's very resistant to it. Luna, instead of being like, "Shut the fuck up, Serena, you're so dumb," is like, "Serena, you're just upset because you're gonna miss your friend," which was very empathetic of her. So I don't know if it was necessarily complimentary or supportive, but it was at least empathetic. So it was a step in the right
We'll count
direction
it.
for Luna.
I would count it because she could have taken that opportunity to be an asshole, and she didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's absolutely correct. We're
That
gonna
is-
see
that is
some
advice I
slow
would give as a
improvement.
therapist.
Literally, she's so mean. We had to make it into
I
a
love
challenge for
this.
this show.
Amazing.
I
She's
love
just
this.
aggressively
I think we're at 5. I think she said 5 whole nice
damn.
things.
in like
about
in
56
60 episodes.
episodes.
Yeah. So it's been tough. It's been tough to try to get her to say nice things to Serena, but we're working on it. Oh, the other thing that I liked about this episode, the other reason that I'm putting it in recommended is because I think this one had that, even though it was brief, that really nice interplay of the way that Serena is coping with this is different from the way that the other girls are coping with it because, as you can see, Serena is currently very traumatized about what's happened with Darian and the fact that he dumped her out of the fucking blue after they've been through so much together and he's being so cold to her, won't really explain it to her. She's confused and lost and feels like she was very much abandoned. And so that's why she's struggling with the suddenness of Ami leaving. Like, I really like the interplay of that, and the fact that even if it wasn't the focus of the episode, it was still something that they made sure to highlight. I thought that that was really a really nice point, and plays into often the strengths of the series are these character-driven explorations that they do, and one that we're seeing the arc of in R is Serena really struggling to deal with what's going on with Darian, who's just being such a jackass.
Yeah, so like, yes, I think what so like Doomtree happens, we refresh our memories.
Oh,
Okay.
And then yeah, like he was dating Ray during Doomtree because he didn't remember Usagi.
And flirting with
What is his damage?
So
This half of
his damage here is that right at the beginning of right when Chibiusa has just like come through the time portal,
Yeah.
he starts getting these visions, and in these
Visions, okay.
visions, all he can see is like Princess Serenity standing in the crumbling ruins of like some futuristic crystal kingdom. And although it's not explained at this point, we just know that he thinks, badness if he stays with her. Basically, he believes because of this vision that if he allows the future to come to pass where they rule over some future place together, then at some point this crumbling of his vision will occur, and that
Right.
something bad will happen to her. And so he's like, if I break up with her, that future can never happen, which is
the boy needs a
sure is a
therapist.
choice, and a choice that didn't involve open communication with anyone. But yeah, so that's the choice that he's made, and you can see that it's going really well for everyone, and everyone loves that he's made this decision unilaterally.
I mean, like, everybody in the show is like, what is his deal?
Absolutely, every single person. There's not one person who's like, oh yeah, I totally get why they broke up and why he's not telling her about it. This
This
seems
makes
like
sense.
totally normal behavior that isn't fucking weird at all.
Duckie, are you okay?
Like, he's
I didn't
processing.
think that my Momohate could get any higher.
Oh, this season,
Honestly,
we
this season is some of
found
his lowest.
He is like, dude, you are dating the most powerful being in not only the galaxy, the fucking universe.
The universe.
And you think your punk ass breaking up with her is gonna protect her from some big bad evil?
You matter so much.
but like,
sir.
but for like no reason, nothing tells him to stay away
Right.
from her. This is all him.
My dude, you don't want to stand by her? You don't want to protect her from the big bad future? Like, shouldn't you be near her in order to prevent that from occurring? How did this man get
Instead
into
of-
Harvard?
Instead of saying like, yo, say true, instead of being like, all right, I've had this futuristic vision that's portending a far off future doom. I know like 10 super powerful genius girls. Well, at this point, 5 super powerful genius girls. Maybe we should like put our heads together and be a think tank about this and do some problem solving and work together on this problem. Instead, he's just like, I know what will really help is if, in addition to everything else that's on her plate right now, I break up with my super powerful girlfriend and put her under a lot of emotional stress. I think that will solve the problem.
I think that'll be better.
What the hell? I get that. I get that this man is an orphan. He's not used to I get that he's grown up fending for himself. He's not used to relying on other people. And so it's maybe not his natural tendency to lean on other people when he is under stress. I allow for that. But at a certain point, you have to also not be stupid. Like, you just have to not be stupid. And that's...
You have to,
This
like,
where
you know
that's
a
where-
literal
Just so
psychic.
emotional.
You know a person that looks into fire and sees the future. You didn't
Mhm.
think to be like, hey, yo, girl, you seeing this too?
No.
You don't see this?
No, at no point. At no point.
See, this is why Neptune can't be in this season, because she would just see him being a jackass, and she'd be like, "What's your issue?" And then he'd tell her, and she'd be like, "I can see it in the future." No, it's not.
By the way,
Like, she would have this done.
Yes.
She'd be like, you know what I see in my mirror right here? A 10. But also, you know what else I see? Sensational. I'm glad you like that one. So yeah, so that was episode 62. That was Amy's power up episode. Said I think it was a solid one.
We should do a
That was
smash or
great.
pass for the Yoma of the day. Also,
Okay, we can do a smash or pass for the Yoma of the day.
Pre-transformation and post-transformation.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm down.
This was my idea for our panel for Moon Menagerie at AB. It was a hear me out cake with the Yomas.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I love that.
Let's see. Let me pull up a good picture of her. Okay, so this is pre-transformation, and I'm so
It's a pass for
Okay,
me, dog.
pre-transformation. Yep, she's got Bob written on her boob, but I mean, they
Bob.
all do. They all work at Bobby Flay. He got a nice red lip.
And
I
then-
don't hate the makeup look. See, post transformation, I think she's really pretty. I don't think she's giving sex appeal, but I do think she's really pretty.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't
I
say no.
smoocher.
I'd go to
I
the
wouldn't
mall.
turn
With,
it.
I like the design.
Yeah.
Sorry, what'd
I'd
you
go
say,
to the mall
Rizuki?
with her. Maybe go shopping.
Yeah. I'm here for that.
I'm down.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's how we
Yep.
feel. I love it.
Okay.
All right, next
Yeah,
episode.
so I have a shorter summary for this one. I think there's less going on, but also, this episode. Episode 63 in Japanese. The Japanese title is Women Must Be Strong and Beautiful. Ray's new special technique. And what is our DiC episode for this episode title?
Gramps and a pickle, and it would be like the cutest shade of green nail polish
Gramps and a
ever.
pickle. That is a perfect OPI color name. I can see it.
My emotional
right.
support pickle.
Let's
You have an emotional support.
I have not one, but two. This one's a stress ball.
Amazing. Absolutely.
Well,
Okay.
bitch.
Let's talk about this episode. Okay. So I'm gonna
Gee,
give
where to
you
start?
the summary of the DiC version, which is vastly the better version. Let me make that clear. It's the better version, not because it's more sensical, but because the JP version is so upsetting. Okay, here's the DiC version. Gramps is very upset that like nobody's coming to the shrine lately. So he's telling Ray that like he took out an ad in the paper, and Ray's like, "You took out this ad in the paper," and it's like a 2-page spread with like 20 photographs, and he's like, "I didn't tell them to do that. That's going to cost me a ton of money." So anyway, the next day, the girls are all over. They're all helping Ray out at the shrine, and there's sudden like new influx of visitors, of presumably people who all seen this big ad. Ray says that Gramps has started an like aerobics martial arts self-defense class, him and Chad, that they're teaching. Rini, it turns out, also really wants to take this class, but so do a ton of girls recruited by Chad because Chad is hot, and they were here for that.
How does it go?
And
Yeah,
he
yes.
does not seem to have recruited based on his looks. He's just, his wholesome Chad self. And he's like, yeah, I just talked to these people and they all were interested. But it's very clear why they were interested. Anyway, Katsy and her droid also infiltrate this class. They're like, we're going to infuse the boxing ring with dark energy. Because again, it's another crystal point. The droid, whose Japanese name is Dumble, aggressively beats up the other women in the class. She's just like wailing on them. And Katsy's like, Gramps, you should get in the ring too. And Ray is like, no, you should not get in the ring. It is so way too dangerous. Which then makes Gramps feel really insecure because he's in front of all this hot woman Katsy and he's feeling his age. And so Ray tries to get Chad to also convince him not to. Chad really, really, really doesn't want him to. And Gramps is very torn between Chad and Katsy. But ultimately, he picks Katsy because she's a hot lady. Ray is very upset over this. She goes off back to work with the other girls, but she's so upset and so stressed about Gramps being in danger that when she's pouring boiling water, like she burns herself. And the other girls are like, no, this is a lot. You need to talk to him again. Meanwhile, back in the boxing ring, all of the girls in the ring are just getting their asses handed to them. Like, it's brutal, left and right. Gramps really wants them all to stop fighting and gets in the ring. He does an impressive attack that knocks out all the regular people, but then Dumble transforms into like the same girl, but like suddenly really butch, and then tries to beat him up. Ray arrives just in time, throws herself bodily in front of Gramps, and is just like taking the hits for him in a very sweet, sacrificial way. Serena then transforms into Sailor Moon and attacks. The droid retaliates, but then Tuxedo Mask shows up and stops the droid. So Moon attacks again, kills the droid. Mars, meanwhile, uses a powered-up attack. Her attack in Japanese is Burning Mandala. In English, this is
Mars fire in circle or something.
I was just like Mars flames in circle or Mars fire in
going on?
circle.
Mars-
I'm trying to think of the English DiC name for Burning
Celestial
Mandala.
fire.
Mars celestial fire surround. That's what it is.
Yeah. Sorry, I was working on something and then I heard you and I'm like,
yeah.
wait, I know this one.
Celestial fire surround. Yep. So that's her power-up attack. Tuxedo Mask has yet another vision of Princess Serena in a crumbling place, and he fucks off. And then Mars comforts her over the fact that Tuxedo Mask left. This is we're starting to see a real softening of Rey towards Serena in these episodes, which is really nice to see that in between their bickering, they are being supportive friends to each other. That's the episode. I should clarify, that is the DiC version of the episode.
The DiC
I will-
version at least is more wholesome from what it's sounding like. Because I'm very concerned based on your face on how bad the original
This
is.
is I could not recommend this episode less. This is, I think, one of the greatest things DiC ever did was try to take this episode and make it less upsetting. So from the very start, in Japanese, Gramps is upset that no one's coming to the shrine. He didn't take out any act. And Ray's like, yeah, do you know why no one is coming to the shrine? No one's coming to the shrine because this popular magazine did a huge expose on how you creep on all the young girls that show up at the shrine. Yeah, that's how bad it is. Like, Gramps got me too'd. And Gramps is like, I just want hot girls to come to my shrine. And I'm sad there's no hot girls. Like, he is unashamed over being just a lecher. And he continues to be a lecher throughout the episode.
He's so wholesome and deep.
It's still a like aerobics martial arts self-defense class, but it's like, again, there's this idea of like girls can be beautiful and also strong and blah blah blah. By the way, the beautiful noodle animation team, which is one of the two horny animation teams, but the one that does really nice animation, animated this episode. It's very clear why they chose it. We know that they will choose obscure episodes if they can make it incredibly horny, and they really did that with this one. There are so many scenes, especially in the Japanese version, that are like focused on people's crotches or have women bending other women in very suggestive ways. It's a very, very extremely horny animation team episode from a visual standpoint. At multiple points, Gramps is just like, keeps talking about how horny he is for young girls. When Rini wants to take the class, or when Chibiusa wants to take the class, he's just like, oh, I guess you can take the class too, but I really, really wanted some hot young girls to take my class. Like, it's.
I mean,
just-
at least he draws the line at like tiny children.
Oh, yeah, but it's just aggressively unpleasant. Like, when the conceit in the scene where he's choosing between Chad and Katsi is in Japanese. Specifically, she says, like, it looks like you've got a lot of signups for your class and you could use some assistance to teach the class. I'll teach your class. And she's like, you should let me teach it. I'm super hot. And Chad's like, no, Gramps, don't do this. You literally don't know this woman. I thought I was teaching the class with you. And she was like, well, I guess you'll have to decide between us. And Chad's like, I've been here for like years now, or months now, or whatever. I just thought we were in this together. And he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna choose her because she's real hot. And Chad's very upset by this. And Ray's very upset by this. Like, he's just very upsetting in this episode. I think Sailor Moon at one point even has a line like in her intro speech where she's just like, he may be kind of a pervert, but you can't pick on him. Like, it just
That are pervert, Grandpa.
Oh my god.
it just was, I mean, it was let's just say the 90s were a different time in anime where the casual inclusion of characters being overtly perverts was a comic relief thing that happened in a lot of series and was not treated as a strike against a character. It was very much treated as a comedic, like, boys will be boys, and sometimes the boys are perverts, and then the woman pulls a giant hammer out of hammer space and physically abuses him with it, like, and that's comedy. So this was very much in keeping with the comedy of the time of anime series, but I hate it, and I hated it then, and I hate it even more now. I hate this episode for that reason.
It's funny because like now my husband and I have been rewatching Sailor Moon, not like sitting there watching episode by episode, but whatever just happens to be on Pluto
Sure.
TV in the original Japanese. But what's funny is for me, from classic Doomtree and bits and pieces of the Black Moon arc, I watched it in the original DiC dub, but then what ended up happening for me was it's Cartoon Network stopped showing the DiC dub at some point, and then it just stopped for a little bit. And then in May of 1999, they were like, oh, by the way, here are the Lost episode, and it finished the Black Moon arc. So that's how I watched the R series, because right after that ended, I was already watching Stars in Japanese. So then from there, I went backwards and then started watching S and Supers in Japanese. And I never really watched a lot of classic and R in the original Japanese because of the weird way I went
No,
about it.
same. Actually,
So-
I had very much the same trajectory.
So this episode, I remember it in the DiC dub. Now that you're describing it, I've never watched it in the original Japanese, and I'm like, well, that's for the best. From what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, at some point it's gonna it's gonna come by on Pluto, and you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, ooh, no,
like off
nope."
topic for a second. I
No.
finally saw that Chibiusa dinosaur episode for the first
My
time.
God.
recently. I'm just like, this happened.
There's a lot of episodes where you're like, that passed?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes they just it was like 11:45 p.m. and they were like, "We need another idea for an episode."
What
And they
about
would just
this?
pull out stuff out of a hat, and it was like Chibiusa dinosaurs.
Sounds great. Let's make it so.
Sure. Let's make it
Bad
happen.
though
Yeah.
is that DiC made this episode kind of wholesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
they cleaned it up so much.
So much. Because
Yeah.
there's something adorable about Chad and Grandpa and aerobics gear and like look how wholesome they look.
We
Well,
had
yeah,
some
sure.
fashion in this episode.
I mean,
Also-
I'm not gonna lie. I would take Chad's aerobics class. Like,
I would
damn.
take it.
Hell yeah.
I would
Well,
absolutely take it.
he's got an hourglass. Like,
Oh,
Mhm.
we can actually see his eyeballs in this episode.
You can, because it's an episode where he
weird.
gets serious, so you get to see his eyeballs.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, Chad could smash in this one.
also,
The Yoma could smash. It was very.
The Yoma could
very-
smash in both forms. Sure.
oh,
Mhm,
that's a
same.
terrible part.
How cute are the girls in the little Miko outfits?
I just love Usagi's face.
So
Her
good.
face is
That's
great.
me
Look at
at food also.
I think they all look really cute in the outfits.
And this is super wholesome.
Look
at the
at
end.
it.
Aw, see, that's
Mhm.
cute.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
That's
Yeah.
cute.
But to get back to the actual, like, really important point, hang on real quick. Just switch screens. Hang on.
Being a dirty old man is
She
bad.
can get it all day
actually.
long.
Oh,
Yeah.
she can 100% get it. They were like, let's make her Butch, but with a little bit of David Bowie.
Yeah.
An
Yes.
amazing
No.
voice.
Because like literally as she's transforming, I'm like, are they trying to make her uglier because we've gone from step on me mommy to please step on me mommy?
Yeah,
is-
so pretty consistently with a lot of the Yoma, what you'll see is that one of their ideas of like monstrosity was very butch women. And so we were like, we've created a super scary monster, and I'm like, would. They were very, gender senseless, but we weren't. Her human form is also super cute, and she's got this little like heart cutout on her aerobics outfit, which is
Right.
needlessly horny. But again, that's the Noodle Animation team.
Exactly.
They will make everything beautifully drawn and just unnecessarily
Very
horny
horny.
at all times.
Oh, and real quick, there was a beautiful moment here between Rei and Usagi.
Oh
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that's right at the end where
Friendship.
where Tux has again fucked off for no reason, and Mars is just like, don't worry, he really does care about you. It's gonna be okay.
He's just dumb.
Yep.
He's just stupid.
She's correct.
He's just a man.
Just a dumb piece of shit.
This
He's
is
just a man. He can't help it.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
an
Spanking
apple
scene
for-
in the Japanese version, obviously, DiC always cuts out the actual physical spanking. Oh, because it's the horny animation team, there's also an extended scene where when Chibiusa is thinking that she wants to get stronger so that she can spank Usagi. And then they show a scene of her repeatedly spanking Usagi, which didn't need to go on as long as it did.
Interesting.
Of
You
course.
know what? DiC, no notes. You actually did good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Fine. It's fine.
I'm eating my hat. DiC did it good.
Did it good.
Ura
Ow.
says, you're all so gay, and I love it here. Thank you. So real.
Yes,
That's
true,
why you
true,
love
true.
us. But all right, any good points about this episode? Chad was adorable in the DiC
Chad
version.
was so
Very
cute.
nice.
I
I love Chad.
I liked the scene where Ray is like she's trying to be in her anger and is like sitting with the other girls when Gramps like refused her advice, and she's like, I really want to be angry about it. Being angry about it is like what I do. That's how I cope with my emotions. But angry isn't the primary emotion she's feeling, and she like spills the boiling water on herself, and they're like, no, you're not angry, girl, you're worried. Like I liked that moment. If I had to pick something salvageable from this episode.
What's Raina right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chad
was-
deserves better than
Chad
Rain.
was
I treat him like-
perfectly fine in this episode. He was
Yeah.
not a weird creeper.
He gets bad
He
rap,
does.
but I really
His DiC version of Chad is a lot more wholesome than
Yeah.
than the stalkerish version of Japanese Chad. But he was not a stalker in this episode. He was just being a normal, nice guy.
Yeah. He's like, he gives me Kronk energy in the DiC dub.
Yes.
And the
That's
bully.
yes,
And
yes,
Jack
that's exactly
chose
it.
to voice him with like this surfer dude voice.
Yeah,
It was perfect. It was perfect. It really adds to his character, I think.
He's just like blazed out of his mind 24/7. Like that is how he's
He's fine.
Yep.
Everything's fine.
cheer for those
Cool.
guys.
No, it's cool, man. It's cool.
I love like whoever his voice actor was decided to lean into the surfer Cali voice, and I
Mhm.
appreciate
So
them.
much. They
so much.
dedicated, like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do the whole way through. Nothing less, nothing more. This is it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no! One of my favorite episodes is coming up in the S season. Whenever he fights Haruka.
Oh my
for
God.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
unfortunately a ways away from that, but we will get there.
But that's what I'm like. I love this idiot.
He's a delightful idiot. All right, Japanese episode 64, In Search of the Silver Crystal, Chibiusa's Secret. What is our DiC title?
Trouble comes
Trouble
thundering
comes
down.
thundering down. It works. All right. So Rubius has a slightly different scheme than usual. He's been focused recently a lot on the crystal points, but he decides to divert from that. He's got a new scheme, which is that he's like, I know that the rabbit is specifically afraid of thunder, and we can use thunder to scare her out into the open. Like, let's flush her out with. So Prisma summons a thunder-themed droid to create thunderstorms. And the idea is what it is. They're going to have thunderstorms. It's going to scare her out in the open. End of story. So Serena is on her way to pick up Rini from school. Serena, unfortunately, also has a crippling fear of thunder and is very upset that she has to pick her up. But she puts on her big girl pants. She goes off to do it. Rini is at school. She's seeing her classmates get picked up, and she's again missing her real parents. She gets so upset by how much she misses her parents that she runs off into the rain and is then gone when Serena arrives to pick her up. Serena's worried. She calls home to see if maybe Rini just like went home ahead of her, but Sammy answers and says, nope, she isn't here. So then Serena's like out roaming the streets looking for her. It's raining. She's worried. She's scared. She runs into Darien along the way, and then there's a big peal of thunder, and it scares her again. She grabs hold of Darien instinctively in her fear, and very insensitively, he just pushes her away and scolds her like a douche. She then feels very insecure because the minute that she mentions Rini, he cares about what's going on with Rini, but he doesn't seem to care about her, and he's basically like, yeah, well, I care about her. She's a kid, and I don't care about you. We're broken up. And then she's just like, wow, he's so concerned about Rini. What a super kind guy. I'm really in love with him. I'm like, no, girl, no. Not the baby. You have a cat. Right behind you, Michi.
Yay! You do have a
Michi, there's
cat.
a cat. Anyway.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to pause and
He's
acknowledge
saying
when
none.
there's an animal on screen, it must be acknowledged. Okay, so we've just finished with her being like, "Wow, this absolute asshole is such a wonderful person. I'm so in love with him." Okay, so meanwhile, all the other girls have coincidentally run into each other in the same shop where they're all taking sanctuary from the rain. It very much comes across as though Lita and Amy were on a date, and then Ray and Mina were also on a date, and their 2 dates ran into each other, and they're all then getting milkshakes together. Good for them.
Lesbians.
Yup. So Rini is telling the Luna Ball that she wants to like go home. The Luna Ball projects like a little pixelated picture of a woman, and it has the voice of Luna, and tells her that nope, she can't go home. She has to stay and get the crystal. Don't forget, you got to do this mission. But Rini rejects this and tries to use her special key to go home anyway. Everything around her in the immediate vicinity, including the restaurant that the girls are in, starts like gravity loses hold and it all starts floating. Rini gets even more upset about this and the fact that it's not working and taking her home. She starts crying even louder. Her crying once again causes a massive beacon in the sky, which is great news for the baddies because they're like, yep, that's what we planned on. She got scared by the thunder and now she's letting off her beacon. Let's go kill her. Sorry, capture her. Yep. So Serena and Darian also see the beacon and immediately run towards it, but the droid gets there first and starts using lightning attacks to attack Rini, who's like desperately evading. All of the people concerned all converge in the floating building, where they are all now floating. Sailor Moon transforms, but because of the floating, she's like kind of on the ropes. Tuxedo Mask shows up. He pierces the drum that the droid is using with a rose. He throws another couple roses, like makes it dance. Sailor Moon then dusts the droid. Prisma immediately off. Rini then uses her key to fix the whole anti-gravity problem. The girls try to interrogate her, first a little bit forcefully, and then very gently. And they keep interrogating her and she doesn't want to answer. And then Tux is like, look, sometimes people just have secrets that they want to keep. And maybe you should just like let people keep their secrets sometimes. Because sometimes a secret is maybe super important and maybe you have really good reasons for your secrets, guys. Maybe there's just a really good reason that she has. And so Rini runs to him and he like covers her with his cloak. Like, don't worry, I too understand what it is to have a secret that would be really useful to communicate to people, but you don't anyway because you're emotionally constipated. Don't worry, I got you.
No lies.
So then she's like, I only love Tuxedo Mask. She walks off with him. She sings a song with him about how much she loves Tuxedo Mask. And they see a rainbow together. The girls are nearby. They also see a rainbow. And because they've all seen a rainbow, everybody's happy. The end. That's the episode.
Dude, that I'm happy, yes, when I'm with Tuxedo Mask. I'm like,
I erased that from my memory.
Oh my god.
no, don't worry, I'll bring it
Dang.
back because it's stuck in my head. I know, because you really have to get up there to get Chibiusa, because she is like, credit to her voice actor, because like that is a hard
Sandy
voice to
Stock.
maintain.
We salute you.
Sandy crushed it.
Oh my god.
No, and in particular, Darian is the biggest jackass of in this episode. Like, even just the screenshot for this episode is just like, look at him. Yeah, look at him.
Can I help you?
Being a douche.
He just looks at her like, why are you touching
Do I know
me?
you?
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross. Oh,
Prisma.
Ura doesn't know the deep theme.
Prisma is Pets, the eldest. Avery is Calaveras.
No,
Birdie is Birthier. Cassie is
Katya.
whatever.
Cohen.
Cohen. Yeah, thank you. Cohen. Yep.
Also, I did appreciate how much detail they gave.
Yeah,
this
that's
character.
Yes. Things that Proplica should also make a Proplica of, because the weebs with adult money would spend money on it.
But they never will because they hate us.
It's true.
Yeah. Let's just re-release everything in a different shade of pink.
How many crystal brooches do we need?
Not that many.
I'm going to be bitter forever.
I thought this was a strong-ish episode because at least like it starts to bring. Oh, we see Sailor Pluto.
Yeah,
for the
we
first
do.
time.
This is our first appearance of Sailor Pluto. It's interesting because obviously in DiC they very clearly they had Luna be the voice inside of Luna P, which implies that they were never intending to. Like, that they made that decision never intending to do the second half of R, where Pluto would have shown up and presumably not been British Luna. So
But I like, wasn't it your theory that it's either, we had two theories on Patreon. It was either that everything that comes out of Luna P is auto-translated into Luna
which
voice,
is delightful. Yep.
or else they
Or else,
really
yeah,
did
they
just
really
not
just
think
were
that
like,
we
yeah,
were going
it's
to get
just like
that far.
So I liked the conceit of this episode. I always like when the villain is trying something different than just throwing another monster at another similar thing, where it's like, oh yeah, we do the crystal point thing again, we fail. We do another crystal point thing, we fail. Like, I like when there's a novel approach. In this case, it was like, let me use my specific knowledge of this person's weakness in order to try to draw them out to behave a certain way. I thought that was effective. I like the fact that obviously the fear of thunder is genetic between Serena and Rini. For me, this is one of those episodes when I think of R and I think about the tormented lovers arc between Serena and Darian in DiC. This is one of the episodes that I think of, is when like she's frightened in the rain and like she wants him to comfort her and he pushes her away. For me, this was one of the most angsty episodes every time I would watch it as a little teeny bopper. And I would just be like, no, don't push her away. She's scared. How could you do this to her? This is
Because he's a
this
dick.
is one of the this is, I think, a strong Serena episode. Obviously, throughout, we always have the weird thing, which comes straight from the manga even, of the weird, awkward jealousy / competitiveness between Usagi and Chibiusa. Of like, oh no, we're fighting over the same man and we're jealous of each other and blah blah blah. And it's like, it's unrealistic. It's again one of those things that you have to accept as like a baseline in episodes and be like, look, I have to overlook the fact that there's going to be a part in which Serena is going to be like, I'm jealous of this small child, and try to just like set that aside and look at her behavior in the rest of the episode. She's very mature. You know, she's very scared of thunder too. She does not want to be out in it, but she never says, no, I'm not picking up Rini from school. She puts on her big girl galoshes and goes out to do it. When Rini's missing, she's not mad that Rini didn't stay where she's supposed to be. She's just worried for her and immediately tries to find where she went. She thinks, did she go home? I'll call first. Now I'll check the streets. You know, all those things. Like, she's very mature about Rini in a lot of ways, even as Rini is being a little shit to her. It's just, you know, it's again one of those ones where she's showing her maturity and her empathy, and empathy obviously is the thing that above anything else characterizes Usagi. So, but yeah, Tuxedo Mask.
If I had
Yeah.
a nickel for every time that I said boys are dumb in therapy, I could pay off like a good chunk of my student loans. This is one of those episodes where I'm like, boys are dumb, except Rubius actually had the big brain cell.
He did.
I'm so proud of him.
This
He
was
got
a
it.
solid plan. His real problem is that he's a fuckboy who doesn't do his own work. So,
Yeah.
you know, he's just like, you
Yeah.
girls, why don't you send one of your subordinates to do this instead of like do it yourself,
We're
bud.
halfway there. Halfway
Mhm.
there.
Honestly, as far as like Usagi being jealous of Chibs, like Mamo does favor her. Like Mamo will drop everything with Usagi
100%.
to like do something with Chibs, like even when things are like good between them. So like I don't think it's like jealousy in the sense of like he's gonna leave me for this literal child, but rather like, hello, I exist too. Like she's
Right.
14. Like she
Yeah.
wants to be with her mans. And he is like, ew, get away from me on like a good day. Like he's never like lovey-dovey with her except in the manga. Like anime mama was such a
They just got over everything that happened in the first arc, and then fine. Doomtree, Darien doesn't remember shit. Okay, fine. Why are you here? Anyway,
We got
now
Moonlight
we're
Knight,
finally-
who was the best version of him. And then he left us.
Yes. So now, okay, oh my God, we remember each other. We remember the past. We're alive. Everything's great. Small child lands on you. Then you dump me, and now you favor small child and ignore me and push me away and just give her so much more like love and favor than you do for me. The entire series.
Yep.
Like genuinely, this makes me laugh now that I like thinking back to it. Back when I first started watching Sailor Moon in '95 and like the Doomtree and everything, I really liked Darien because I didn't know Mambo existed yet at the time. I really liked him. Like, oh my God, Darien Shields, he's so cool. And it was these episodes, and I was just like, wow, he's such a little bitch. And then I went to Stars, and that was the end of that. Like, there was no, that was it. Bye.
You're like,
Bye. I found something else. But like this did
Found
not do
the
him
so
better,
funny.
hotter version of
I found 2 women to replace you by.
Bye.
But like this episode did not do him any favors, and you make such a great point. Like, look, Serena Usagi, whatever. Serena really did. She was so mature in this because yes, she was going through a lot that Darien did not help with. We're gonna ignore him. He doesn't matter. She was going through so much and so dealing with so many things, but she was still going to just. I'm gonna avoid that. I'm gonna ignore that. I'm gonna focus on where is Rainy, and that's huge for her considering everything we were just saying. Like that is such a monumental step of maturity for her. And I'm just like, oh. And then Darien steps on it. Love it.
Although he also had the brain cell, he was like marginally useful in this episode in defeating them.
I'm sorry.
It was Martin
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did puncture a drum.
I'm like,
which
God
was-
damn it.
Yeah,
He
all right.
used his noodle.
He's
He
like-
wasn't completely useless.
Duckie, you're literally at the point where you're like, I had something sharp and it can go through something that's
Yeah.
not sharp. And that is the level we're holding him to.
It's not high.
No. The bar
Not
is
high.
set.
The bar is
bar is
right
right
here.
here.
It's like it's so low.
All right. And then just for
Yes.
Duckie, smash or pass.
Oh
Smash
God,
or
what a
leave.
choice. That was not
Right,
I was
are you
gonna
ready?
say that's not the monster.
She's
Here we
hot.
go. Oh, she is smash a million times
Yeah.
over. Smash.
Smash.
Smash, smash.
Smash. I know.
Right?
And again with the or
No,
like
no.
David Bowie.
There is a theme.
They were very they
Bowie
were very
season?
into like the David Bowie makeup.
The monster is named
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
All right, so let me talk to you about
not-
so let me talk to you about the Japanese version. There is a delightful moment. So as we're talking about the droid Thunderclap, at the very beginning, the first time that it uses its like thunder and casts its lightning down on the world, it yells Pika Pika.
So good.
Amazing.
Let's see. Let me see if I have any other notes.
Honestly, though, the design
this
is
is-
honestly like
this is
she's
really good
genuinely
design
hottie.
right here.
It
She
is
looks
genuinely
badass.
really good design. I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any other notes on the Japanese version of the episode. It was
I just have one funny last little thing. I like that this episode is called Thundering Down. And what are our 2 characters wearing? Pink and green.
Yes.
Jupiter colors.
It's so Jupiter coded.
Meanwhile,
Her
the
little raincoat is very
eyeshadows
cute.
don't have any Jupiter colors.
Nope.
And yet they're right in front of you.
Depression.
Oh yeah, don't forget
Right.
flying up Minako's skirt. Yeah, when they were all floating, there's a scene where Ray floats upward and her face just gets caught
Yep.
completely underneath Mina's skirt. Mina's like, "What the hell are you doing back there?"
I mean, the ship
Yep.
sailed itself.
We'll just allow it to happen.
Yep. Let's talk Japanese episode 65. The Japanese title is Dispute Over Love, Minako and Makoto's Conflict. What is our D title?
Hang on.
It was a good one. It was another good OPM.
I like OPI, your job is done for you. What is your problem? A charmed life.
A Charmed Life. Yep. That'll work. That's a classic D title right there. Okay, so first off, my very first note in here just says horny animation team.
Yep. We're an animation team. I remembered the goop.
This is a very goofy episode.
All
right, so- At the opening of this episode, Mina's hanging out in the park and Lita shows up. She runs up. She's like, "I'm so sorry that I'm late." And it turns out that Mina is surprised by the lateness from Lita. But Lita's like, "Look, Serena's also late. She's even later than I am." And Mina's like, "Yeah, but Serena's also late, so it doesn't count. I have standards for
Dang.
you." As they're sitting there having this conversation, the 2 of them see Rini getting picked on by a couple of schoolboys and they go to help her out. But in the process of doing so, Mina and Lita again get into like a tiny spat about different ideas about romance and what is and isn't romantic and who is and isn't hung up on former boyfriends. Rini then tries to calm them down by saying, "Guys, don't worry, I'm going to marry Darian." But then Serena, who has just shown up, overhears this and she gets into a fight with Rini about this. So everybody's now just kung fu fighting. Meanwhile, Prisma and Avery are both looking down on Earth and they also start to bicker. That's kind of our theme for this episode. Rubius sends them both on a mission for another crystal point. This one is like a crystal and gemstone shop. Avery didn't initially want the mission, but then she decides she does want the mission. She summons I've written down Avery summons a goopy wine droid. It's a goopy Yoma that pops out of her wine glass, and she goes to aid in the mission. So the two sisters are working on this mission together. Serena, meanwhile, has been trying to get Lena and Mita to stop fighting because they're still sort of having this on again, off again argument. And as they do, the three of them run into the sign for this new gemstone shop, and they decide to go in and look, tailed by Rini, who's also still looking for the silver crystal. So what we learn is that customers come looking for crystals in order to like make someone fall in love with them. But when they get them, instead, as is going to be the case with basically all of these Black Moon arc episodes, everything that happens, it makes people pissy instead. So Serena is completely taken in by all of these like snake oil promises, immediately wants to buy everything in the shop. Luna, Lita, and Mina are not really taken in by any of these promises. So Prisma spies the rube of the group as soon as she sees her and immediately promises Serena a gemstone that will return her boyfriend to her. Serena is very into it. Mina and Lita also make a grab for the gemstone, but then they both laugh it off like, oh no, I wasn't interested in this at all. I don't believe in this nonsense. Mina, instead of bickering this time, Mina like offers reassuring words to Lita and is like, I think your boyfriend like kind of wasn't good enough for you actually. And you just deserve better. And Lita and Mina both make up with each other. They're not very good at being in a fight. Rini then shows up and starts bickering with Serena. Because of all this bickering, Prisma just completely loses her cool and yells at them in a very not employee way, which makes the girls realize that something's up. So Prisma and Avery summon their goopy droid, and Mina tells Serena to like get Rini out of there. Mina then finds a fire extinguisher and uses it to cover the area in a fog so that Serena can hustle Rini out. While Mina and Lita transform, they fight. So Venus and Jupiter are fighting Prisma and Avery. Prisma and Avery get the upper hand. I believe Venus is being hornily choked by her neck with a whip, while Jupiter is hornily strung up in goop bondage. And then, Mars and Mercury show up to help them. Jupiter gets her new attack. The Japanese version is Sparkling Wide Pressure. I think this is Jupiter Thunderclap Zap in DiC. And Venus gets Venus Love Me Chain, which is Venus Love Chain and Circle in DiC. Because of these attacks, the sisters then retreat and they leave their droid behind. Serena leaves Rini in a broom closet. Serena. Serena leaves Rini in a broom closet so she can join them as Sailor Moon. She defeats the droid. The girls then all go for milkshakes. Ray and Serena find something to bicker about. That's the episode.
Okay, but like I kind of get why. Look at this face. Tell me this face wouldn't buy a million.
Oh my god. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like I really enjoyed this episode. I think there's a lot of delightful things about it. You don't normally see Mina and Lita are not characters who normally bicker with people, and their relationship with each other is also rarely explored. They, in some ways, have two of the most similar personalities out of the four inner buddies, but there's not a lot of exploration for that. I really like that they decided to do their power-up episodes as the same episode and explore that friendship a little bit. And the idea that, like, they keep trying to bicker, but they keep also accidentally, like, unbickering because they just get along too well. And so they keep trying to revive the fight and then they keep, like, being bad at it, which is really delightful. It's a really nice counterpoint to what we see, which is that Prisma and Avery are the most bickery of the Ayakashi sisters, the Spectre sisters. And so there's very much this intended juxtaposition in this episode. So I really like that. It's a nice preview for what will ultimately happen with the Spectre sisters vis-a-vis the Inners, which is sort of this like direct counterpoint interplay. And when they all get spoilers redeemed, this sets up for that really well. This is one of the episodes where we really start to see a lot of Prisma's personality. Your initial characterization of the Spectre sisters is that they're all just very superficial. They all just look in their mirrors and put on makeup all day and just want to be like the prettiest princess. Not Prisma. Prisma is consistently like lovelorn about things that are like, we're never told who she's lovelorn about in these initial episodes, but she's clearly always like bitter. And I love this for her. Like when all the other girls are like, I want to be so pretty. I want boys to notice me. And Avery's always like, this is how I seduce every boy. Prisma's always like, men are garbage. This is bullshit. Don't waste your time on men. They suck. And the other girls are like, you're so bitter, Prisma. And she's like, men suck though. I love that. I love that she gets this distinct characterization. She will go on to have her own like really nice character arc as art unfolds, which is fantastic. So I really like that we start to get those glimpses of her. I like that she's got this particular rivalry with one of her specific sisters. They both seem to get along with Birdie really well. And none of them really acknowledge Catsy particularly. Yeah, I think there's a lot to recommend this episode. And then I like that the little closure moment of this episode is that comedically they come back around to, don't worry, you know who will always bicker? It's Ray and Serena. Which was a nice, like,
Always.
don't worry, we're ending it with some good old bickering. I thought there were some nice bits in this one. I like it.
Yeah, and then if for our audience, in case you're wondering why we call it the horny animation team,
Here's why.
What is that pose on Sailor Mercury? What is that?
what is like the pose on any of them?
I know. But it's just like, and by the way, like there was no setup. You don't see them getting entangled. Like it cuts from initially
Nope.
like Mercury and Mars show up to help fighting, and then all of a sudden the next time we see them, all four of them are like in goop bondage.
Right.
Which is a thing in this
Yeah.
episode because it's just goop bondage.
Goop bondage.
Yeah.
Eros.
Also, these
I know.
outfits are
God,
so
straight
good.
Great bangers.
Like you, by the way, simplicity makes the patterns. I'm pretty sure
yeah.
for both.
Thank you, Simplicity.
Also,
Not
look at this
I know this
animation
was such
cell.
There's so much
What
happening
is
here.
this? What is this? Like I stopped it and it's like a Renaissance painting. Like what is this?
good.
So like,
So good. That's a whole mood.
and also I just love these. The bitchy
I love
sisters.
them
Yes.
so much.
Why does there not look like there's a single brain cell?
Because
between
there's
any of
not.
them?
This is what you have when you have three dumbasses with ADHD in a friend group.
Look at her just being so bitter. So bitter.
Metatron.
Even they can.
Even Luna's
like,
like,
"Girl,
girl,
you
you
good?" Avery's like, wow, you're really keeping our cover really well. Wow. You're not giving
Concern
anything
in this
away.
photo. So much concern in this photo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Yeah. And I forgot at first she tries to get away with Rachel.
Yeah. Yeah. She's that's another thing I love. I love that they had this conceit that like she couldn't help out and fight because her first priority was to take care of this kid. So, you know, she's consistently trying to find a safe place to put Rini in this episode.
Ugh, all the outfits,
Mhm.
11.
Yep.
Honestly.
Ray's overalls are one of her best
the
looks.
pink overalls. Yeah.
Yeah. But just had to bring that up. But yeah, the horny animation team makes some sauce.
They
now.
do. They do. That's how I know that they were letting certain animation teams like sign up for specific episodes. Because you can see animation teams are consistently working on certain episodes that are just needlessly hornier than other ones.
It's a choice.
Cool.
The Sailor Moon says was kind of about like creating your own destiny and not remember and like
Not
don't take love charms
Yeah, not falling
seriously.
into
Like,
Like,
horoscopes are
superstition.
fun,
Yep.
but like,
Don't
Yeah,
focus
you
so
had-
much on that.
Yep.
Yeah, but otherwise I thought it was cute. Serena drinking the
Oh my
love
God.
potion made me laugh like
chugging
hell.
it. Chugging
I know.
it.
Twice.
Well, but she drinks it and she goes like crazy.
Yeah.
Like it was
The
so
second
funny.
time she chugs it is after they've already established that the entire
Right.
store is a ruse. It's like
Yes.
an evil reason. She's still like,
She's like,
yeah,
We're
but
gonna
like,
do
that
it. Not
anyway.
stop.
just in case.
She's like there's a 1%
Yep.
chance.
I
I'm
got
a
a roll
freak.
dice on it.
Oh my god. But no, do we recommend this episode?
Yeah. I like this one.
Yeah.
I think this is you don't see a lot of Jupiter and Venus, and I think it's
Yeah.
nice to see that glimpse.
Oh, and then we gotta do it for
Yeah,
Duckie.
smash.
Oh yeah,
Smash or pass the monster
Show
lead.
us the goop.
So this is the best picture of her I can find.
I mean, I'm not a slime girls thing, but she's pretty.
Yeah, it's not my shtick.
It's gonna be a texture call for me. Like, what is she made of? Is she made of like wine? Does she feel like Edward Cullen? Or
Is she
like,
liquid?
does she feel like another like?
I don't
Because
know.
we've already established I was not a fan of the color pop face goop. So In that case,
Yes. Because she's wine. So
And
Right.
it's like,
get in your
what is
hair
her
and stain
texture?
your clothes and
Oh,
true,
yeah.
true.
It's
That would
everything.
Oh,
pass
Girl,
just
what a
for the
pass.
cleanup.
We got to
We can't-
pass. Yeah. What a mess.
no thanks, girl.
all right. And then I think anything else about this episode that we want to talk about?
It was good and wholesome and 10 out of 10. I love two idiots with ADHD. I have had that exact fight with the squad of like, well, so-and-so's later. Like, at least I was only 10 minutes late. It's a marked improvement for me.
Hey, I think it's a fun
Yeah.
ride.
I like it.
And compared to the next one, it's almost wholesome.
It's time for us to hate on Mamo again.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. What a garbage man.
I mean, like, if we just had here's the thing. The reason we had the Luna say something nice to Serena challenge is because there's very few. If we had the Darian be a dick
God.
challenge, we would every 2 seconds, bam, bam,
Like,
bam.
not every
They
time he's
whack
spit
'em
a
all.
dick because he just
Every
liver
time he's
failure.
dick,
I
take a
was gonna
shot.
say, take a shot every time, but you might perish.
Yeah. You would simply die.
Yeah. Bury me in his green
Oh
boy.
my-
I'm telling you, the best version of him was the Moonlight Knight, and we lost him. Like, I will
Yep.
accept all of his troubling cultural appropriation that was happening with the Moonlight Knight because he was the only version that was only nice to her. And he was the most,
inside
like,
somewhere that Moonlight Knight is
he was also the best contributor as far as like doing battle. Like he had a
Yeah,
sword.
'cause
which
he
he
actually had a
used
sword.
stuff. Yeah, Moonlight Knight. They should have just kept it.
that was the best version. All right,
Last
last one.
one. All right, so Japanese episode number is 66. The Japanese episode title is Usagi's Parental Love, which is kind of a spoiler for later in the season. The Curry Romance Triangle.
Yeah, they kind of spoil everything with the Japanese
They
titles.
always do. They always do. All right, so what is our DiC title?
And the Curried Favor.
Perfect. That is a perfect, like, that is, the DiC title could not have been anything else. Like, because you were like, you know that their first
No.
priority is, can we do a pun? Can we find a pun that we can do
Yes.
with this? And if they find a pun, that's the title. And this one was great because there
Yes,
is a
and-
favor being involved. A
Mhm.
favor is being done. And it's curry.
Yep, and I personally have never disliked Chibiusa as much as I did in this episode.
What a little douchebag. She gets it from her father.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, the both of them, the pair of them
Yes,
can
she does.
leave.
All right, so at the beginning of this episode, Rini is very upset because Ikuko Mama and Kenji Papa. By the way, I watched this set of episodes in the Viz dub, and I believe that Kenji Papa is voiced by the voice of Zhongli from Genshin Impact. So yeah, so any of our viewers who play Genshin Impact, just know that Zhongli is also Sailor Moon's father. So anyway, Ikuko Mama and Kenji Papa both backed out of cooking for this curry night that's happening at Rini's school, but they volunteer Serena to go instead of them. Serena agrees. She's like, oh, you need me to do this because I'm like mature and I got this. And Rini's like, no, I don't want you to do this at all because Rini's a little shit. She's like, I would rather die than have you cook curry for me at my school. Rini decides to learn to do it on her own because she's playing the victim, but she's not good at it. And she cries and she misses her real parents. Serena very empathetically is like, look, I know you don't want me to do it. How about we ask Darian to help us? And then Rina agrees to that. They go over to Darian's place. He sees Serena at the door. He's instantly a dick to her. And then Rini is like, no, Darian, I need your help. And then he lets them in right away. Darian hears what's going on. He agrees to help them, but they decide that they should like make a test batch in advance to make sure they know what they're doing before the actual thing. So they decide to all go shopping for ingredients. Rubius, meanwhile, has also sent Prisma and Avery to capture a new crystal point. Guess what? It's the grocery store. So walking into the store with Darian and Serena, like walking to the store with them reminds Rini of like long ago, walking places with her parents. And she's already holding Darian's hand, but because of this memory, she reaches up without thinking to hold Serena's hand as they walk, having a great time. Then Rena is like, hey, Serena, don't hold my hand, pulls her hand away. And Serena's like, you grabbed my hand first, kid. And she's like, I did not. Yeah, she gets it from her father. So meanwhile, Prisma and Avery are at the grocery store. They are selling dark fruit. This is one of the most memorable like Yoma schemes for me ever. I always think of dark fruit when I think of ridiculous Yoma schemes. They're just avocados, but with like black patches on them. That's the dark fruit.
Oh, they're purple.
Yes, they're purple, but they look like avocados.
They're avocados.
Maybe they're pears. They look like avocados. The Yoma is avocado themed, so.
Yeah.
That's true.
Prisma is absolutely terrible and creepy at salesmanship, and she scares off all the customers. But Avery's like really good at salesmanship and like gets all the customers back and gets them to try free samples of the dark fruit. The then corrupted and pissy customers walk around touching all the other groceries and infecting them. So when Rena, Serena, and Darian get to the grocery store, Rena and Darian immediately notice that all the frozen meats are rotten and smell horrendous. Serena's really shocked because this was supposed to be such a high-end grocery store. Serena and Rini are just like, ugh, well, I would never shop here. Bye, I'm leaving, and they ditch Serena. But Luna is there, and she tells Serena to stick around and investigate because she's like, something ain't right about this place. Serena notices that, in fact, everything in the store is rotten except one carrot that she found and is very excited about, and that things are getting worse. Meanwhile, Rena and Darian, who've ditched Serena, run into Ray, who asks, like, she's like, oh, I thought you guys were with Serena doing a curry thing. Where's Serena? And Rena insists that, like, oh, we don't need Serena. She sucks. And Ray sticks up for her and is like, that's not very nice. Serena really wanted to do this favor for you, and she's been working really hard on it. And Renee's just like, Ray, can you make curry for us instead? And Ray's like, really uncomfortable about the idea of taking Serena in Serena's place here, but like she reluctantly agrees to help them. After a while, Rena's like, this doesn't feel as nice as it did when Serena's here. And she changes her mind and is like, I think we should go find Serena again. And Ray's like, thank God, I was just going to suggest that. So they go back to look for Serena. As they get closer to the grocery store, Ray gets really bad vibes about it and tells Rena and Darian to like stay back while she investigates. Inside the store, the droid, whose Japanese name is Avocadora, attacks Serena, who obviously henshins into Sailor Moon. Mars also appears, iconically riding into a shopping cart. We've all seen the image before. This is that episode. She did not have to do that, but she did it anyway, which was so extra of her. Tuxedo Mask also appears to help, implying that he just ditched Rini somewhere.
Where did he leave the child?
Somewhere.
Unknown.
Yeah.
Tuxedo Mask then fights the droid while Mars, meanwhile, is attacking Prisma and Avery. The other girls also show up, so they're all taking on the sisters. Sailor Moon dusts the droid, the sisters fuck off, and then all the groceries go back to normal. Personally wouldn't buy them after this, but yeah. So then back in Darian's apartment, Serena's like really busting her butt to make the test batch of curry. She makes a complete mess of the kitchen. The curry looks so ugly when she serves it, and Rini and Darian are very dubious. Serena tries it first, says it's actually really good. They try it and are shocked that it's actually really great, but it is really great. Score 1 for Serena. That's the episode.
There are parts I like, and there are parts that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Ray was amazing in this episode. Great episode.
Ray showed character growth.
Maturity.
So good.
Learning.
Loyalty. Empathy. Like, she was so good in this episode. She was an awesome friend in this episode. Like, even when she was being pressured by this manipulative child into, like, taking Serena's place, she was so uncomfortable about it. Like, she had Serena's back in this one. It was very, very good. It was a great episode for Ray, but it was not about Ray.
Also, no, but I did love these.
Dark fruit.
Like, it doesn't look suspicious at all.
No.
Look at them.
Who wouldn't want them?
Look.
Look like completely normal fruit. That purple and black avocado.
And I like that they have little headbands with DF.
Yep. They made costumes.
It actually looks good.
Yeah, it looks either
They did
good
make
or
costumes.
bloody,
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
which is fine.
Concerning.
Concerning. There's the carrot that she found. She was like, look, I think this carrot's still good.
Yeah.
And then, like, her carrot
think carrot's
gets brought
going
in and
curry.
she's very upset about it. She's like, no, my carrot.
Oh my God.
And then, but honestly, it's mostly just that Yoma transformation was a lot.
Mhm.
It was because it was like, what did we say it was like? What was it?
Yeah, it
Sweetie
was
Honey?
very Sweetie Honey. The clothes all rip off. Yep.
And like, what animation team was horny?
No, that's the noodle animation. It is a horny animation team, but it's the noodle animation team. So the prettier horny animation.
Oh, the
Yeah,
horny
horny
noodles.
noodles.
Okay.
For people who are not aware, I refer to them as the noodle animation team because they'll do a lot of exaggerated dynamic angles where like people's limbs are sort of foreshortened or forelengthened in ways that can make them look distorted and misshapen and like sort of bending in noodly ways that are beautiful, not quite anatomically correct, but in a pretty way. So
Like
like
look
that
at
one. Well, that one, yeah.
Maggie.
Just
Well,
but yeah, like they're the noodle animation team. The animation is generally beautiful and horny, but also anatomically wonky in an intentional way.
yeah, so this is my warning to the viewers. Be ready to see something.
Yep.
I do wonder why Rubius keeps sending these two sisters out who hate each other. Like, out of all the sisters, like, Birdie even at one point is like, bring me something back. Mine. Like,
At any point, he could
Birdie
send all
either
four
gives
of
him-
them, and he just doesn't.
no. Like, what are the others doing? Getting manicures and shopping?
Yes,
Like,
literally
I'm
that.
convinced they all just spoke and were like, can you just send those two so we don't have to hear them fight?
them.
yeah.
Yep.
You just send them so we
Yeah.
have silence.
Yep.
Sound
100%.
of silence.
No.
They gotta get their
Oh my
like past
God.
merch.
Well, I'm trying to see if
They
there's
gotta get
any
their
other
historical
fun
relics.
facts.
You were correct. It is Keith doing
Oh,
Kenji
God, I
and
knew it.
Yeah,
I know that voice.
I think he's also, this is like just specific lore, but I think he's also somewhere in Odin Sphere. I can't remember if he's like Onyx or somebody else, but he does like, anyway.
I mean,
But
so
we stand
before I played Genshin Impact, I knew him as the voice of Hawkmoth from Miraculous Lady.
Yes. So when he was Zhongli, every time he would talk, I was just like, oh, Hawkmoth, this is so awkward. I can now mentally separate them in my head because it's been long enough. But anytime, because his voice is so distinctive, anytime I hear it, I'm like, osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who shared the memories? That's
right.
actually something else good to bring up. The voice acting of the sisters is really good.
The voice acting of the sisters is fantastic. Again, DiC does an incredible job of casting performers who all sound incredibly distinct from each other and who all embody their roles really well. Now, I do think that the Viz voice casting for the Ayakashi sisters is also really nice. Their voices are very well suited to the characters that they have, and they are easy to tell apart. I think Viz did a good job for them. I'm reminded that in watching these episodes in Viz, I actually love the voice acting for Mamoru in the Viz dub. I think that his voice actor turns in a really good performance. A lot of times when he's giving motivational like instructions to Sailor Moon, when he's like, now Sailor Moon, it's the time, he sounds genuinely like intent, like he's in a combat situation. I think it makes him sound more involved than I'm used to hearing him sound. So yeah, I think it's a case where I actually really like the Viz voice that they chose for him. I think he does a really good job in Viz. But I mean, obviously the DiC voices are just for me always so on point. They're giving the most. So it's great. Let me see. Japanese notes about this episode. There were some significant changes in this episode. So Michi, if you'll remember, when we watched these DiC episodes together and we watched the Sailor Moon Says, there was an entire scene where Serena is chopping vegetables and like prepping and making curry with the other girls. And that was nowhere in the DiC episode. That never happens in the DiC episode. That happens in the Japanese episode. There's an entire scene with it where, so right after they get Darien on board to do the thing and they're like, we're going to do test batch first. Serena's like, oh shit. Okay. I got to go. I need a crash course real quick from my friends, how to make curry. So she goes to see the squad, and Ami's like, did you know that there's 22 different spice ingredients in curry? And here's all the spice ingredients. And Serena's like, that's great, but that's not really helpful right now. And then Ray is talking about like the different curries of the world. She's like, oh yeah, there's Indian curry and blah, blah, blah. And there's, she's describing the different curries. And then Makoto obviously is the helpful one who's like, let me show you how to make curry, girl. Let's do it. Here's how you chop vegetables, and here's how you do this and that. And so like, and then Minako decides that she really wants to practice chopping vegetables, and she's doing it with like tremendous gusto. And then Jupiter's like, maybe don't be so enthusiastic. And Mina's like, but the most important thing is I'm having fun. And then she goes, ow. And then she's like, oh, I cut myself. And there's like extendedly, they believe that she may have taken off her entire fingertip. She's like, call it everyone. It's an entire comedic scene. And then Jupiter picks up the nub and she's like, this is the end of the carrot. Did you even cut yourself? And Mina's like, are you a bear? I got overwhelmed. I freaked out. Serena then is practicing chopping vegetables. And like, you can see Luna going, wow, you've really got a rhythm going. And then Makoto goes, it's a shame you haven't put any vegetables under that knife yet. It's just her like practicing the chopping. So yeah, it's a whole little scene where clearly she'd gone to her friends for like to pump her up and help her out with this crash course. And I don't know why they cut it, but they did, and it's a shame. It was a very cute scene. Maybe because they were like, we shouldn't encourage people cutting themselves.
Children to cut
their
fingers.
Let's see. Oh, a hilarious comedic moment in Japanese. So in Japanese, when Sailor Moon first gives her rousing speech to the villain, she gives a very specific speech. She says, the supermarket is the public resource for health. You've gone and angered the fresh Highland vegetables and the melt in your mouth shabu shabu beef, which is adorable because we know she's a food lover. So he was very upset that food has been corrupted. So like not 60 seconds later, when Tuxedo Mask shows up through the window to interrupt the battle and like assist in the thing, and he's about to give his like inspiring speech. His speech is, the supermarket is the public resource for health. You've gone and angered the fresh Highland vegetables and the melt in your mouth shabu shabu beef. And Sailor Moon says, is that what I just said?
Oh my God.
It's very funny.
Good for her. Which
Yep.
in particular, I think that Mamo was like the biggest dick in this episode to her, especially about the supermarket. Right.
Awful.
Like it's her fault that the veggies are bad. Like, bruh, they leave together in like a hub.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
they're so pissed at her for choosing this supermarket that would dare to have rotten food. And she's like, this was the highest rated supermarket. It's just like they fucking went to Erewhon or something. And he was like, how could you choose this disgusting place by like, or when he like tries to slam the door in her face and originally when she comes to his apartment, he's like, why are you fucking here? He's like, I don't have time to talk to you. It's first thing in the morning. And then Rini's like, Harry, I need your help. And he's like, oh, okay, come in.
Right. Like she was ready to slam the door in her face.
Like, he's just like, I get that he's broken up with Serena. That doesn't mean that he should be encouraging Rini to be a little shit. Because you notice Ray stands up for her multiple times. And Darian, who's been there the whole time that Rini has been consistently shitting on Serena, never once is like, you know, Serena's really going out of her way for you. Like, even as mean as you're being, she's really trying to help you out. Like,
and it's like, okay, you broke up with her because you're trying to protect her. That doesn't mean you need to be a complete and utter shit stain on her at every opportunity that arises in your life.
exactly.
Like, how is that helpful?
It'll be
not helping anything.
easier this way if I'm mean to you. It's the Edward Cullen take.
I'm a masochistic sparkling vampire. This will make it better.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be mean to you so that it's easier for you to hate me so that we can be apart.
I hate it.
It's the same thing. You're right. He is literally Edward Cullen. Like, I can see the pages passing by now, the months passing by. But honestly, like he's insufferable. Like between him and Rini, I remember why I hated her.
She's a dick. Like it's if she was just childish, she'd be fine. Like we can deal with children. But she's so consistently a dick when Serena is so trying to be like kind to her.
Yeah. That's on trauma, kids. Like if I had a nickel for every child that does the exact same shit, wouldn't be able to pay off my student loans, but like it would be like a nice like $10.
Hey, you could buy yourself some ice cream with that.
From Bobby Flay.
You could put dark
Not allowed.
fruit on it.
I could put dark fruit on it.
Your ice cream from Bobby Flay.
Yes.
I'm
Perfect.
so pissy.
Collab we didn't know we needed.
Bobby Clay Dark Fruit collab.
Yes.
No, and
Get
I
on it,
Surely
Bobby.
that will corrupt the crystal points so much better.
no, and it's just funniest shtick of them being like, "Come buy our fruit," and then like she literally just scares everybody.
Yeah.
Like the sisters are a whole mood. Like I don't know why Rubius thinks any of them are gonna win. Like why
too
are
much
you
faith
trying?
Unknown.
Yeah.
Unknown.
know.
I think he's just so lazy. Like he's just
Yeah.
such a lazy fuckboy. He's
So
like,
he's
Wiseman
weird.
hasn't
He's-
checked in on us in a while. Like, I'll just, surely they'll get one.
Those red curls don't curl themselves. I
No,
need
they
the
don't.
time.
True.
Yeah.
So true.
He's gotta
I'll
look at
try.
himself.
Yeah, it's my son.
Yeah.
A boy.
He's decided to stay
Nope,
over there.
nope,
Goodbye.
not today.
A lot of
This is
times
no
he lay on his
paparazzi.
little avocado bed over here. It's a
Oh,
little
the
weight.
dark fruit bed.
Fitting.
It's very cute.
Oh my god, hey avocado.
Yep.
There you go. Tying it in.
But no.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Amazing.
So far.
Free Shavakadu. See, now that would be a great Jupiter.
But no palette for
No.
Jupiter.
No, and by the way, I love though, if you remember, up until this point, Duckie was asking me while we were watching, does she not know that's her child? And I'm like, no, she
No,
has no
she doesn't know.
fucking clue.
No. Like, I know that Usagi doesn't know, but like, how does like Girly Pop, you know what your mother looks like. You know what your father looks like. How are you this dumb?
She's known her parents, who are ageless, for hundreds of years. Again, are
Like,
ageless.
did you get like mind wipe in the tiny white?
This is why you're 900 and you still look like you.
They appearance-wise, they should only look a couple of years older than they are now.
I got a genuine question for
Okay.
you three. In the deep dub, are we actually meant to like chippies?
It's a no. I'm gonna say no.
Don't. Yeah. No.
I hate it.
Like, I'm trying to picture what the director was seeing, like, wanting us to feel. And the only thing I feel is annoyance when I see
I
her.
mean, so
Annoying.
yeah.
little
So
sister.
Chibiusa is the classic Scrappy Doo. Scrappy Doo, of course, being the TV trope name for this character.
Oh,
but, like,
God.
when you
Oh,
think of
God.
Scrappy
You just-
Doo, she is the classic Scrappy Doo, complete with the fact that she could not be more annoying.
Oh, my God. Now I just want a live
That's a
action
really
Sailor
weird
Moon.
power up.
But picture this, a live action Sailor Moon where Chibiusa is the villain.
I mean, it's our she will be the villain in episodes.
Yes.
So
Soon.
That's fair.
Soon.
I forgot this season goes for a long while.
this season has a lot.
This
Like we
season
haven't
has-
even. We're gonna be with the you're with the Ayakashi sisters for a while, and they are the lowest tier of Black Moon Clan villains. Because then we've got Rubius, then we've got Esmeralda, then we start getting into like the Saphir thing with Prisma, Demond, who's the major villain, except he's not because Wise Man is the major villain. You've got his whole romantic thing. Like R has a lot packed into it because we're gonna have Black Lady too. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And Pluto.
Yeah.
Frickin' Pluto.
And
There's
isn't it Pluto's voice out of Luna P in the Japanese version, or is it still like
no, in the Japanese version, I believe it's Pluto.
Okay, it's just DiC.
Yeah.
Being DiC.
yeah, which is fine. I mean, it makes sense because it's like okay, like it's Luna P. Why wouldn't it sound like it looks just like her?
It looks like her. It has her name. That
Right.
tracks for me.
yeah.
Like, I didn't question it.
All right, but then, so how do we feel about these episodes now that we've discussed them?
It reminds me so much I hate Rainy.
Yeah, this one could have been good if it hadn't made me so mad. Again, this is a great episode specifically for Ray.
Ray saves it.
If
Yeah,
you are a
saves
Ray
it.
fan,
Yeah.
great episode for her.
But would you recommend this episode?
For the shopping cart
Just-
alone.
Just for that
Oh,
part.
True.
Because everything else was balls.
And I think if you wanted to give someone a taste
Culture.
of the emotional experience of watching R, this gives you like, here's how much of a dick Mama will be. Here's how much of a dick Chibiusa will be. Like, here's all that that Usagi is going through in this season. Like, here are the wacky hijinks that the villains do.
Yeah.
This is sort of a prototypical R episode.
Here's your Cliff's notes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The prodigal are.
Also, I want to know what the hell
Here's
Ukuko
the
Mama and
deal.
Kenji Papa were doing that they had to cancel on a child's like big after school event. Like that's
It was
very
a
parental
business
decision.
dinner, I think.
Why did
Yeah.
they both have to go to the business dinner?
Yeah.
We both must go.
They don't both work. Like
Yeah.
the Ukuko Mama is a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't have any obligation to go to Kenji Papa's business dinner.
She's gonna show
I
up
have
and
to
look
be
fine.
the trophy wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, they are a very wealthy family.
House is no joke.
Mm-mm.
I like that, by the way, on the Wikipedia, it just makes me laugh because every single episode, all it says is these events never happened in the manga.
Real.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you're
they
right.
don't.
You're right.
Yeah.
But there's something charming about DiC.
In its own special
Mhm.
way.
And this was this was a
but-
very, I do think this episode, when it's not pissing you off, is very fun. There's some episodes really have fun with the stupid Yoma conceit and the stupid,
Yes.
villain hijinks and things like that. And this was one of those ones where they were just like, yeah, it's dark fruit,
Yeah.
Enjoy.
right? Mars is going
Yeah,
to ride on a
dark fruit.
grocery cart. Go
Yeah.
with it.
Was this like a spin the wheel? Like Mars is gonna be on up? Nothing for this. And like they drew straws.
Yeah.
And they were like our villain is gonna be who wants the fucking avocado? Like
Reese back in here.
Avocado.
Like I seriously think the monsters of the week is whatever person working through wanting to
Yeah.
fuck a particular object. Like
It's that, or again,
at the vacuum.
or the writers are at home trying to come up with ideas for episodes, and they look to see what's out in front of them, and they're just like, oh, this one will be based on a remote control because it's sitting to the right of
Yes.
me. I
This
think there's
enemy
some
will be a
degree of that as well.
I can't.
Oh my god. No, but literally, if you think about it, they're all horny. Like it's somebody, like someone was working through something with the avocado. Any last thoughts on DiC Dub? Anything, Chad? Everybody, like
So yes, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
since you guys haven't been with us on this entire journey of DiC that we've been doing, how did you feel about watching these old school 90s dubbed episodes after all this time?
Weird. I think the last time I saw these was in 1999, I think. So I didn't
Yeah.
remember anything. And even now, I watched them, but I'm just as I'm watching them, I'm like, I clearly enjoyed this because here I am 26 years later. So clearly I was cool with it, but I have concern. I wanna go back in time and just be like, listen, child me, what's the vibe we're feeling here? What's the vibe? Are we good?
you know,
Because actually, wait, I'm gonna show you something. I showed this in a live stream I did a couple weeks ago. So when it comes to the DiC dub, it's so funny. I really loved it. I love the music. I love the voice acting. Does it have its problems? Sweet baby Jesus, yeah. My God. But as my intro to Sailor Moon, I'm glad that was my intro to Sailor Moon. Even though for some reason I decided, let's go from dubbed second season to original fifth season. It'll make total sense, but whatever. But
I mean, after seeing Darren
you know
like
what?
that,
Maybe that was a plan. Maybe that was fate. But it's funny because before I had mentioned that with DiC, they ended it on Cartoon Network with this whole marathon of the lost episodes. And I remember that distinctly because I still have the VHS. It's literally right here.
oh my
and
god.
The reason
Yes.
this matters to me so much, I don't know if you can read it. It is.
Hang on.
Oh my
it is,
God.
5/23/1999. And it was a whole ass
Oh my god.
But
Marathon.
this is a whole thing. I went through this whole process with it. And this was so crazy because I'm watching it and I had already started watching Stars at this point. So I'm just lost at this point. I'm so confused by everything and everyone, but I still have this. And this was beyond for me because when this was happening, if anyone watches wrestling that's here, there was a wrestling pay-per-view, a WWF pay-per-view the same exact night. and it was very bad because a wrestler passed away in the live.
Oh Jesus!
my God.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
like during the broadcast. So I'm watching this and watching a wrestler pass away on live
Shit.
TV, and I'm like, okay, let's go back to Rini. So it was a whole time for me, but yeah, I still have it. So this is proof I watched it.
Oh, so cool. That's
Proof
awesome.
right
Oh my
here, but
God.
yeah, this was the last time I watched the DiC dub. This VHS right here. So this was a timey-wimey time trip for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
no,
Mhm.
it was great because when Relia and Monica came to me with the idea of rewatching the DiC dub, I'm like, wait, I still have my DVDs. I'm ready.
Oh my God.
You're totally
that's right.
legitimate, above board licensed DVDs that are definitely not
Mhm.
bootlegged.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
We've seen the menus. We can see.
I mean, oh no, I edit that. That shit's edited out. Our Patreon had no idea they were bootleg.
They're not.
Amazing.
They're not.
Amazing.
Well, to be fair, I do have a few real ones, but
yeah.
most of them
Yep.
be bootleg.
I mean,
It's all you can get nowadays.
Yeah.
Fair, I bought
I
it
had
back in the
super
90s.
Sure, but
Sorry,
but-
what?
Yeah.
that's all you can get nowadays.
I had Super and Super S on DVD in like high school.
God, I know. It's like I'm so excited to get to the lesbians.
We're working our way towards them.
lesbians.
on the way.
We'll get there.
Lauren,
We'll get there
Michelle.
sometime this year.
Like, I genuinely just want to know, like, were they just translating an episode at a time? Like, did they not watch everything in Japanese for, like,
They knew. I mean, they knew they were lesbians, but they were like, we can't have them be lesbians. Which is how you get Michelle's ex-boyfriend. Was it Brad? Is it Brad?
Brad, the best
Brad.
kisser. Brad's such an
Mhm.
amazing kisser.
I'm sure he is.
Brad,
how did we think that this was going to be better?
I think about what was on TV at the time, and I'm just like, okay, Cloverway, do you not know that you had kids and tweens watching the Powerpuff Girls with him at the same exact time? At the same exact time. This is happening.
that's not a
And that was
problem. That's not true.
No,
Sarah.
because it's like, it's Hays Code relics.
They
because,
weren't
like, as
possibly
long as they're
represented. Yep.
villains, as long as they're
Then
bad,
it's fine.
then
Exactly.
it's fine.
But no, but incest. It'll be
But the
great.
Let's
Can't
go
have the
lesbians.
lesbians be heroes. Let's just make them incestuous
it'll be
lesbians
genius.
instead. Because I too gaze lovingly into the eyes of my cousin while I talked about following her.
And
into
how
hell.
many
Yes,
times were they like,
that's-
"Oh, Sailor Uranus, your cousin. I have your cousin. Why don't you come get your cousin?"
Cousin.
No.
Stop.
cousin.
No, the one that sticks with me is Mercury when it's the episode where they're having the lovers contest. So of course the cousins are there. And she goes, they're girls and cousins too. And I'm like, that is the most shoehorned. Yes. I can't get over it. I know this line. This line sticks with me to this day. Because that's when little me was like, they're girls and cousins too. And then 26 years later, got out of the closet. And I'm like,
No,
they're
they're
girls.
girls.
No,
They're-
no.
They're cousins.
Well, of love.
Or when Michelle is like, it's that silhouette and it's the motorbike scene, and she's like, leave it to me, cuz.
Oh my god.
No,
I got
Her. Goodbye.
you know what?
Good
I'm gonna
guys.
make a cousin counter just for the
Please
third
do.
season.
Have to.
We're gonna have a
Have
cousin
to.
counter.
You.
And we're gonna
not shots.
Yeah.
Not shots.
no. That's not. It's gonna be a cute little like thing up on the screen, and it's gonna be it'll be up like this, and I'll just make it a cousin counter.
Cousins. Yep.
My son is here. He doesn't come on camera very well because he's too dark and
On the
little scrappy brown boy. There he is.
Dark fur on the dark
Yeah.
fruit. Look at.
So
Oh,
right now
look
he's
at this.
obsessively licking my hand because
Sure.
he's on a steroid for a couple of days to deal with an inflammation issue that he's been having, but the steroid makes his appetite like go through the roof. So he's constantly hungry. So at all times when he's on this steroid, he's like, "Can I please lick your hand? It's covered in salty flavors." And I'm like, maybe for a minute.
Oh, that's
So,
fun.
so yeah.
What
he wants to do right now. He's very cute.
Let
me lick you.
Oh, which one? Oh, well, who's your favorite Spectre sister? That's a good question I wanted to ask. Because, like, right now, my favorite's kind of Birdie because I kind of love that she doesn't give a single shit.
She does not give a
And-
shit. I love that she's just like, I'm here to be Scarlett O'Hara. She did a whole Southern Belle accent in DiC for no reason. She just wanted to.
Yeah.
She's not from here. No one knows her. She didn't have to do an accent, but she really wanted to.
I can
Yeah.
do this, and I would like to showcase it at this time.
I think
I agree. I think I would also say Birdie just because Katsy's dub voice, granted, I appreciate that they all had different voices and you can tell them and everything, but she made me concerned because she just talked so.
No. And like people who've watched our Patreon episodes, I've said this before. My letdown with Katsy's deep dub voice is that I think it was a missed opportunity for them to I always want her to have the voice of Marissa Tomei, like doing a real accent.
Oh my god.
I feel like it was.
Oh my god.
And so every moment that she doesn't have a Marissa Tomei voice, I'm let down by it. I think I'm gonna go with, probably still, although I have a soft spot in my heart for Avery Calabres, I'm gonna go with Prisma Pets just because one, I love that she's this consistently over the toply bitter woman at all times. And then I'm gonna say she gets a really cute arc later on with Saphir, so I'm here for it. But I just love her aggressive bitterness. And they're all doing their makeup in every episode. She's just eating an entire cake. And I'm like, yes, girl, yes.
Girl with the entire cake.
The whole cake. It's the whole cake.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Yeah.
Do it.
In a full
Yes.
face to
Yes.
makeup.
I
I
just want
would-
you to know before anyone else answers, I'm now imagining Katsy. The defense is wrong in my head.
Exactly.
I just want you to know I'm visualizing that as we're chatting, and I'm like,
Oh my god.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
It's a bullshit
That's-
question.
Oh, but and Duckie, did you say who your favorite was?
It would have been Pets if, she threw the cake on the ground, and I cannot forgive her for
She did
wasting cake. Cake is nourishment for our hearts, according to Ami. So I'm gonna have to go with Corn just because I love, her fit is just. And she's the purple girl, so.
She is the purple girl
I do love that Noko just took all fashion design
from the runway.
and just did not
I'm not
even
gonna hide it.
straight up runway.
I'm if I ever just stole a runway fashion design, I feel like I would be canceled on the internet. But Takeuchi, she was just like,
This
I'm
one.
gonna do it. I do it
This
all
one.
the time,
This one.
actually.
But she made it work because I don't see fashion. I just see on the
Mhm.
side. I can't help it.
I mean, I
I'm
honestly
sorry,
think
Blair,
there are
but-
more people who recognize Princess Serena's dress as Princess Serenity's dress as Princess Serenity's dress than they do as fucking high fashion.
Yeah.
As the Dior wedding gown.
They're like Dior.
Yeah.
Who?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dior? Doesn't he make a perfume or something?
Yeah. For that. The one thing I will never forgive her for with that design is this, making the sleeves not sleeves and making them weird armor not sleeve fuckery.
Mhm. I love seeing how cosplayers figure out what the fuck to do with that.
Yeah, I hate it here.
I know they're always just
I'm like,
Yeah.
look, here's the thing. I understand that you have different options of what you could do with it, or you could just literally look at the original dress, which is a real garment that exists,
Yeah,
and look at how they created it, and just do that.
make it sleeves. Make it fucking sleeves.
See, this is my scary part because Noko has said that she has an idea for a new Sailor Scout. She now knows we cosplay everything she draws. Why do I get the feeling this would be a personal go to town?
Because she loves to go to town. That's what
Honestly,
she does.
genuinely, she was on screen for maybe 0.003 seconds in Cosmos. But the fact that she made Chaos a Sailor Chaos that was on screen for 0.003 seconds, I was cringe.
And it's a match to the very grainy, heavily screen toned one panel in the manga where you see Sailor Chaos.
So I'm like,
Are you like, I want to be
I'm
Sailor
just like,
Chaos?
but there's a plan for later.
There could be.
I mean, I cosplayed Drosselmeyer. I
Yeah.
don't judge. You go for it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like the fact that Sailor Chaos has a design means like there's always the possibility that someday we could get, a manga about it.
I just want Sailor V
Oh my
animated.
God.
That's all I want.
Same.
They just should. They just should. The material's
No,
already there.
Just
Yeah.
draw it.
Please.
Animate.
Meet a Cohen character. Like, we love her. We buy everything. Come on, give
I
us the
know.
Sailor V line.
And like y'all are acting like
Like,
we wouldn't. And that's like,
Yes, we would.
I gotta be honest. I feel like there would be even more turnout for a Sailor V animation than there would for all of the Crystal revamp because
Yeah.
it's actual new material.
Yeah.
yeah.
mhm. And a lot of people, that'd be their introduction. Because I know some people only watch.
Exactly.
They don't
Correct.
read.
There's so many times where I've cosplayed Sailor Venus at a meetup at a convention, and I will like ask them like, oh, like, hey, let's figure out a pose or something. And in the 2 times my husband was dressed as Kaito Ace, I was like, oh, did you guys Sailor V? Like, let's do this. And they're like, what's Sailor V? And I'm like, okay, follow me. I would
Oh,
just
no.
love for more people to be introduced to that and to know what that is because it's new material. I mean, it's new material for all of us, animated wise. But I
Yeah.
would want more people to know and to see.
Agreed.
Yes.
I don't know.
Please give Orange Girl more love.
Kind of like how it's kind of like how the Starlights were
Mhm.
before Cosmos. Like, they were known, but they weren't like
Yep.
known.
Part of me died every day for like
So-
25 years. Every day.
I know, because they had to stop at the mirrors.
Yeah, because like, I mean, like,
Which
what would DiC have done? Genuinely.
so that and it would have cut to a guy, and it just would have been the guy looking at the camera like we.
I think it would have been like they would get on their microphones and like Saya would go, Sailor Starfighter, I summon you to teleport into my place and do this battle for me, ma'am.
Oh my
Or go
god.
hide in the panel. No, I remember there's one iteration. I can't remember what dub it is. It's not because there was no English dub, but there was a dub out there where they made
German.
sisters.
Oh,
Thank you.
The German
Listen,
dub.
I
Okay.
took whatever Starlight scraps I could for decades. I have clips of the German dub just so I had something. It was the German dub.
I don't blame you. And to be fair, the German it's also got the Super Moonies. Do you know what the Super Moonies is, Duckie? Did I ever go over this with you? Relia's heard my spiel on this. So the Super Moonies, and then we'll end the episode, I swear. But the Super Moonies was a German pop band created just for Sailor Moon. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I swear to God, I'm not lying. Let me find it.
Oh
There's
my
Super
God.
Moonies.
Like Smithy,
Yes, because I
Oh my god.
no, like it was a thing. It was a thing. And look at it. Look at
Oh
it.
my god.
I haven't seen this in years.
Like, I give them credit. They tried. They used that green pepper.
Yeah, they did.
Short and they killed it.
Yeah, they did.
Because I can recognize that green pepper pattern from a mile away.
That was the
I
first
sense
pattern
it.
I used to make a food.
Sparkle Pipsy was like that
Mhm.
guide. I know that guide inside and out. But they were called the Super Moonies. I don't know why Tuxedo Mask
Is like
He's
that.
here.
serving
It's that,
something.
man.
Oh my god.
Let's see. Yeah, that was something that happened.
Oh
And
my god, I love this.
yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it's freaking hilarious. It just makes me happy that it
Hell
existed.
yeah. This is so cute.
So I want to do an episode of Eternal Mooncast on all of the different dubs from around the
Yes.
world and what they
That's cool.
changed
That'd be
and
so
what they
cool.
did. It would be a lot of research, but I want to do the
That would
episode.
be so cool.
It would be like I'll find somebody willing to do it.
You will.
It'll be fun. All right. Anything else? Variants and
I was just
Reese and Brad.
same brain cell. I was just gonna say pork bun.
This was black and feels like pong.
All right, good. We all agree.
He is a terrible, terrible man.
Oh, this has been fun. Okay, and with that, we come to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us for Bishoujo Senshi Slumber Party, Sailor Moon Deep Dub, episodes 56 through 60 discussion. Always, our fellow Moonies, check us out on our socials and follow us on to find out the next time we're going live. You can follow our links in the link tree in our description, or I'm also going to put up
Ooh, a
a
QR
little
code.
code on different
Okay.
platforms.
All right.
I know. I say. All right, and
Just over
then
Right. I've been your co-host, Relia. If you like what I do and you want to follow me on social media, you can find my most active socials popping up on the screen below. If you want to follow my cosplay adventures, you can find me on Instagram at Relia Lacadamon. Or if you want to follow my artwork, I'm on Tumblr at Art Crystals or on Blue Sky at Relia. Thanks as always for supporting the show, and join us for our next slumber party, which will be on February 22nd. Duckie, where can people follow you and find you?
All of the things. At FancyDuckie, with the exception of YouTube, where there is an underscore between Fancy and Duckie, because my dumb self locked myself out of the one where it's all one word.
No.
So at least I know it's mine. But like, I do not remember the email address that's
Right.
associated with
That's
that one.
hilarious.
Anyway, yeah,
Rip.
the Blue Sky, the Twitch, the Thread, the Gram, TikTok, if it lives past today.
Oh yeah, that's right. If it's there.
If it survives in the future, I'll be back probably.
All right, Rizuki, where can people follow you?
Nowhere. No.
Oh, okay.
Into hell.
Everywhere. Figure it out now. You can find me on mostly Instagram. That is my main platform, but I'm on Threads and Instagram as Rizuki. I'm also on Blue Sky as Rizuki Ann because somebody else had Rizuki. And when I get my new computer, because my old one died, I'll be back on Twitch crying over video games from 30 years ago. So join me. It'll be wonderful.
Will be wonderful.
Perfect. As always, I've been your host, Michi. You can find my personal socials at MEW21 across the web. For my K-pop reactions, you can check out the channel K-pop Voyage, which is also one of mine. For our parent shows, Eternal Mooncast, you can find previous episodes of our show on YouTube. We appreciate any likes, comments, follows, or however you'd like to support our show in your own way. As a quick reminder, these have just been our personal opinions, and we celebrate all respectful Mooney opinions here. And otherwise, have a good night.